Good evening, everyone, one and all. Welcome to round 5 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series from the beautiful Paul Ricard circuit in France. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight for Split Yellow is JP Sneakers. How are we, Peach?
I'm very, very well, thank you. I'm looking forward to some excellent racing at a track that certainly makes for some good side-by-side racing. So it should be a pretty exciting evening overall, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, Paul Ricard is a very good track for racing in these sorts of cars. Conditions work very well for the GT3s, but drivers will need to be careful on their quality laps because track limits around here is very, very harsh.
Yeah, not only in qualifying, in the race as well. It's so easy to get a drive through here if you're not particularly careful. And going to be very interesting towards the end of the race. This week we have a little bit of a different format, so no mandatory pit stops. It's a 1 hour sprint race where the drivers do not have to change their tires. And looking at the temperatures that we have, 25 degrees ambient and 33 degrees track temperatures, those tires are going to be screaming. So towards the end of the race here, it's going to be a lot of fun to try and keep that car going within the limits.
And this track in general is not very kind on the tires because there's so many long, fast corners around here. So these drivers are going to have a big task ahead of them tonight.
Yeah, no, this track has no mercy for the left front tire whatsoever. It just sets out to kill it and does it very efficiently. But it'll be interesting to see what type of times we will get from the drivers in these conditions in qualifying. Like very fast times are into the 52s, and we certainly have a couple of drivers in the split that are capable of that. But I'm gonna predict a pole position time of a 53.3. That would be my call for Mia Rose.
I reckon it will be a 53-1. I'm not going to put a name out there because I haven't seen how people have been lapping, but I reckon, yeah, 53-1. That will sort of be your pole time. We
That's
see
not
a
a bad call.
53-7 already there by Sasha Death. So not too far off of our predictions already, and we're only a few minutes into this session.
Absolutely, that's a very solid banker. We see a couple of the sort of AM times coming in there, about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds off the pace. Matthew Herrera, the end of Porsche, 9 tenths off of Sasha Def. So I think Sasha Def put in an absolute belter of a banker there, and he'll be hoping that he can improve a little bit on that. But I think he's already put himself in a good position to be towards the pointy end tonight.
Yes, and Burrs just under 5 tenths back, so that is, yeah, an absolute banger of a lap time by Sasha Death to start things off. Haven't seen a whole lot of Death this season.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Def, but
Oh,
Sasha Def
absolutely.
not so much. Yeah.
No, they've only been in 2 rounds out of the 4 we've competed so far. So this is their third. So good to have them back into the fray, and they've come out flying in terms of pace.
Yeah, definitely lay down the gauntlet for everybody else after a little bit of a couple of missed races, as they are on another lap here, coming through this never-ending right-hander that is so difficult to get the apex just right, and then into your favorite corner, if I understand it correctly. Such
No,
a tricky
no.
one to get right.
Very tricky at Bendor. Then we have the nice, just, well, kind of corner at Gulliver, and then into Luck, your second last corner. Then you have Vida Dupont at your final corner there. Just flexing some of those weak French skills to see if I've still got it in me. But see, Sasha Def comes across the line now. Oh,
Ooh, a first three.
53-3. Wow. That
Okay.
Ferrari has some pace.
I mean, it seems like a track that suits it quite nicely, as we see Bruno Gallo goes in there with about a 53.8, I would say. About 4 tenths off. Lucas Burstel 8 tenths off. Tom McDonald has put its Ferrari up into P4 there, about 1.3 off of Sasha Dev. But just looking at our point standings for yellow, as we see Mia Rose hasn't done a valid lap yet, and she is the championship leader in split yellow, sitting on 515 points. And Lucas Burrs in the GTR, he's currently sitting P2 in the championship. And then a big shout out to Arno Loz, I'm not sure if I've seen him on track now. There he is in P10. He's currently actually sitting in P3, also leading the Silver Championship. Leading the championship by about 95 points in his class. So being absolutely dominant so far with the new class that's introduced into the season as well. Then if you look at your third place in the pro class, we have Bruno Gallo, but he missed a round as well, so he'll be kicking himself for that. Otherwise, he would have been very close to where Burst and Miros are. And then in the pro-ams, we have Hanikuri leading, Riley Price in second, and Chris Withers in third. And between the three of them, there's a 9-point difference in total. And between Price and Curry, there's only 1 point. So literally all to play for in that pro-am class. There's so much to win and lose. One bad round will drop you out of that fight almost immediately. And then finally in the AM class, we have Joe Williams, who's been dominant in the AM class, 131 points. John Stockton on 91 points, and then Aiden Payne on 90 points rounds out the top three in those classes.
Yeah, some nice tight stuff as Mia Rose jumps into P2 with a 53.4 dead. She was absolutely pushing it around the final corner at Virard Dupont. That was very, very close to being invalid, but she's got a time on the board. Now she can try and build from here. But right now, Sasha Def's still out front. That Ferrari has a lot of pace.
Yeah, I think that was Mira's first sort of valid lap that she got together there, so probably a little bit in it, maybe just playing it a little bit safe with the limits just to get something on the board, and we'll see if she can improve. But I think, yeah, Sasha Def, they've done 2 laps and it's been good enough to put them on provisional pole, and if they can improve ever so slightly, it's going to make it very tricky for anybody else to get closer. We see Lucas Burst there has improved. He's only 3/100ths off of Bruno Gallo now. Things he still manages to do in that car is pretty impressive.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, no, the Porsche certainly is not the favoured car at all, but yeah, Gallo's still able to do some nice stuff. I mean, the next Porsche down is another 8/10ths back of Matthew Herod, so certainly doing some wonderful things in that unfavoured Porsche.
And we have one new driver, I think there. Is it Liu? I haven't seen that name in the split before, and I think same for Tatlian as well. So a couple of new drivers, and Liu putting it right up into the top 6 on his first go-around, which is a pretty impressive debut from him so far.
Yeah, very impressive. He's jumped into the Pro-Am class, car 157, and yeah, within a second of what Sasha Def has been able to do. So currently the second fastest BMW behind Mia Rose, just ahead of Arno Loz. So doing nicely there is Lou in P6. We'll see where he is able to end up in what will be quite the long race, I'd expect, for these drivers.
Yeah, it's gonna be a war of attrition, I would say. Really, you're gonna try and manage your tires. You're gonna try and go as fast as possible while being as safe as possible. And we get confirmation there from Maripal, Tatlian and Liu moving up from rookies this week. So see some fresh graduates from the rookie series that we also offer here in Octane Online Racing. So if you feel like you're not quite ready for the pressure of a point sprint series, then rookies is certainly for you. You can learn how to drive in big groups and don't have to worry about championship standings.
Yeah, no, it's a great environment to get yourself embedded within OOR and embedded within League Racing in ACC. It's a great initiative, and it's nice to see a few drivers jump up from that, both in BMWs. We'll keep an eye on things as we look now at Patrick Oliver, who's going around on his lap right now. He's currently 3/10ths up, so right now that would improve him up into the top 5. But he's got to hold that margin. He's driving the AVR Lamborghini as always. That is always a beautiful car to look at, that AVR livery.
Yeah, no, Mr. Preacher or Thomas Riley does some absolutely stunning liveries. As we see somebody park it up just before getting to Science Corner. Let's see how he goes through there. Have to keep it nice and tight, keeps it within the limits there, and then into this incredibly tricky corner. He goes a little bit wide, and that blue grippy painted stuff will just pull you off track if you do that. Arno Loz here, he's up by 2/10ths there. Gains a bunch of time in that second last corner. Can he gain a little bit more in the final corner? Not gaining anything, not losing anything. He's 4 tenths up, and that will move him up into provisional P6, I would say. Yep,
Yes.
P6.
Yeah, that's a nice time from Arno Loz, who, yeah, as you were saying before, is currently P3 overall in the championship and is dominating the silver class. He's having a standout season.
And he is currently the lead silver car again on the grid after that lap that he just put in. And we see Brimblecombe here made their debut last week at, or when was their race? 2 weeks ago, basically. No, last week.
It
I don't
was
know.
last week for...
It was last week. Sorry, it's my baboon brain gets confused when things move around. But yeah, made their debut, had a great qualifying session, qualifying in P6 in the wet, and then had a little bit of an iffy race and dropped down a couple of positions and has an iffy corner there and does a big old drift and gonna park right on the exit of the racing line. So hopefully nobody approaching immediately and they do get out of the way nice and quickly here. You see Holmes here, he was up by 6 tenths, but unfortunately it is invalid, so that's not going to mean very much for him, but he will know the potential for maybe a top 6 or 5 is there if he can get that lap together.
Yes, and he still has 2 laps to go for it if he manages to keep it all together. Here is Eric Scarni, currently down in P18. He'll definitely want to improve on that, but typically he's been much better in the races than he has been in qualifying.
Yeah, unfortunately last week he had one of those races where things go a little bit wrong, I would say. Had a couple of incidents and yeah, a couple of oopsies, I think is the correct term, but he still managed to finish, I think, top 12 or top 10. So
He was 10th from memory, I
yeah.
believe, yeah.
So even when things go wrong, they still go somewhat right. So he'll be looking to get a decent quality in. Looks how much time he gains coming there, and then of course it all just drains away on the exit, and then it comes back again. So just an absolutely magical time sinkhole of a corner. But he won't be complaining. He is up by nearly 9 tenths now. Drops a little bit on the exit there. He only has 2, well, technically 3 more corners to navigate, and then he should be able to move up a fair few spots with this improvement if he can nail these last 2 corners.
Yeah, no, this looks good so far from Eric Scarni. What's his final corner looks like? Look, oh, he got loose on the exit. That's going to lose him a bunch of time, but he's going to have one more go at it if he wants to do it, but that's going to move up to P14. He'll still want to find a little bit more, and he knows he has more there, but so far, not too bad from Eric Scarni.
Yeah, I guess he won't be happy with that, although I'm quite happy with that. It's a 55.000, so I'd kind of prefer it if he didn't ruin perfection, but I'm sure he would
not
want to
only
go faster.
is it a 55.000, it's the exact same time that Brimblecombe is set. So it's a flat time, but it's also a tied time.
Well, that never happens, as JC will tell you. But yeah, he knows he has a little bit in that final corner. He lost a little bit coming onto the straight, and it's such a frustrating sector there. If you just get it out of touch a little bit, you keep draining time all the way down the straight. And you can just see, not a lot, but it just drops a 10th at or a 100th at a time. And we see Tatlian coming around the final corner. Little bit of a poor exit there, but still up by 2 tenths will improve him by 2 spots up into the top 10, very, very close behind Matthew Herrer there. And that is one of the first drivers to complete qualifying there.
Yeah, no, great stuff from the debutant tonight, Tatlian. That's solid stuff getting into the top 10 in your first Sprint Series qualifying.
I don't think Scarni improved, seeing as he was in a wall. But Stockton is, however, improving here. One more corner to navigate. Such a very, very difficult corner to get it completely right. And he gains a little bit of time on the exit there, 2 tenths. That's going to move him up into P19, just behind Curry there. So a decent performance from him. Gallo improves by a massive 3 100s, which is not enough. Mia Rose has put it on pole with a 53.2. We didn't see when that happened. Can Lucas Burs improve on his final lap here? He doesn't have many corners to do that.
Yes, but he could potentially move his way up into P3. What's his final call look like? He is very wide. That's not going to do any favors, and he's going to have to hold on to P4. But yeah, Mia Rose grabs that by a 10th of a second over Def, so a 53.2 was the time we were looking for.
Not too far off at least, as Holmes has improved. Lost a little bit out of the final corner there, but it's still going to improve by a tenth and a half. Going to put him into the top 10. Bam, into P9, just behind Patrick Oliver, making it a duo of Lamborghinis there side by side. Tom McDonald in P10, not too far behind him. And I think we have our last couple of cars crossing the line there, and qualifying for split yellow in round 5 is complete.
Yeah, so it is Mia Rose from Death, Gallo, Burrs, Piper your top 5, then Loz. Lou on debut, coming in at P7. That's a great qualifying effort there. Then Patrick Oliver, Holmes, and McDonald your top 10.
We see Matthew Hura there in the second Porsche there. Datlian on debut in P12, nothing to sniff at, and Brimblecombe P13. Not as good a quality performance as they had last week, but surely they'll be hoping to move forward this time instead of back. Eric Scarney getting it there into P14. And your lead AM driver, Aiden Payne, in P17, followed by John Stockton. So Joe Williams not on that top 23. I'm not sure if he's maybe not racing this week, but that's a good sign for Payne to gain some points on him.
Oh, certainly, yeah, no. Any little bit will be crucial for that AM class win at the end of the season.
And then just a quick jump over to chat. We have the regulars in: Craig, Dale, Steve Lewis, Bruno Lemos. Good morning. I'm not sure where that's from. Maybe somewhere in Europe. Ferox, John in, and Mr. Matt Powell. And then Ferox saying, Brimblecombe threatening my most British sounding surname title. I don't know. Whistlefart isn't that British, is it?
Yeah, it can certainly be a British sounding name, but no, I reckon Brimblecombe has it beat.
Ooh, I think you just offended Ferox. Bruno Lemos from Portugal. Very, very nice. That is always nice to have some international visitors here. And just before we start this race, we do have our glorious leader, Mr. Neil Alexander, who is still in hospital currently. So just a quick shout out to him. Get well soon. Big hugs, kisses from Matt Powell. He sends all of the love. And I'm sure everybody else in OR sends all of their regards as well.
Yes, we do hope Neil can get well soon. It's a crap thing to go through, and we all hope that he can fight through it all and get back up to speed very, very soon. But Bruno Lemos is a part of our EU split, so nice to have some of the European drivers get in on the Asia Pacific action tonight.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of the NA split races, but the EU split is at like 3 a.m. for us, so that's not really a race I get to watch very often. But it is nice to see the community spread as we get a little fly through of the field here, get a view of some of these liveries. And the camera has decided to follow them. I quite like that Loz livery, the stripy livery.
Yeah.
It is quite spectacular, actually.
You know, Split Yellow seems to always have some stunning liveries. I know last season I could not shut up about the Commodore 64 livery that was on the grid. That just blew my mind, that one. But no, some great ones on the scene this time as well.
I have to admit, I love the AVR livery. It is a spectacular livery, but the laundry house livery on Bruno Gallo's car is probably one of my favorite liveries I've ever seen.
The rust bucket?
Yeah, the patina. It's called patina.
So. Well, the more you know. But no, I do like that one as well. Again, there's just so many good liveries. And of course, I am very much a fan of Mia Rose's livery.
I like the colors of Mia Rose's livery, and the design is quite nice. I'm not a big fan of those the sort of anime style, whatever you call it, but I think Lucas Burrs must get a shout out still for a Need for Speed Underground livery. We've mentioned it before, but it is just such a classic livery, such a classic game. And whoever designed the livery for him, if he does it himself or one of the many talented designers in OR, they've done a spectacular job.
Indeed. Just looking at track conditions, we have a nice dry track, but it is still very, very hot, so the tires are going to be roasting.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, Ferox. That and Riders on the Storm are like the first songs that just spring into my mind as soon as I see a delivery. Yeah, really good little callback from how long ago was that? That's probably 20 years ago already that Need for Speed Underground came out. So yeah,
Yeah,
good
would have
old
been
throwback.
about 20 years ago now.
Which just illustrates how very, very old I am. But yeah, we are soon to go racing, fortunately.
I mean, Need for Speed Underground is still the best Need for Speed game out there, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that and Porsche Challenge. It's my top two favorite Need for Speed games. Come on, Tatlian and Lou, they are part of the Red Rebel Racing. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So we have a couple of new recruits there for Red Rebel Racing. And if you don't mind, Alexis, I'll take us away for the start of Split Yellow here.
Go for it.
So we do have Mia Rose and Sasha Dev, a pink front row for Split Yellow, leading us away. Bruno Gallo, Lucas Burs on the second row, Benjamin Piper, Onolos on the third row. Liu, Oliver, Holmes, and McDonald rounds out the top 10. We are rounding the final corner. Drivers are holding 80 kilometers an hour. Everybody's bunching up, trying to keep those caps as tight as possible. They've done a pretty good job. And we are about to go green for Split Yellow now, and it's a good pull away from the top six. They're very, very even. It looks like a Lamborghini in the background. They're getting a good launch. Lucas Burs and Bruno Gallo trying to make something work. Burs makes it free wide into turn one. Gallo a little touch there. Burs another touch there on Sasha Dev. Sasha Dev crosses the inside there and rejoins again in P2. I'm not sure if she's going or they're going to have to redress that. And Lucas Burs and Bruno Gallo go through into P2 and 3 respectively. Mia Rose will be happy about that, but Lucas Burs will be hoping that the GTR has some fantastic straight line speed, which we'll get a display of for the first time here. And it looks as though they got through as clean as possible after a couple of very, very close calls there. Although Mia has had a fantastic exit out of sector 1 there. We see another car, car 24, yellow flag in the background there. Hopefully we don't get a safety car. It appears to be only one car at the moment that is slow. And things have settled down a little bit. Look at the Audi and the Ferrari top speed versus the Porsche. That is Sasha Dev on Bruno Gallo. Benjamin Piper just behind that. Dev leaves it to the last minute. Pulls out. Will Piper be able to get through as well? Will he back out? He doesn't back out. He keeps it there. Bruno Gallo gives him all the space. He goes very, very wide. He should be able to get that back into track. But Piper gets through. On a loss wants a bite as well. Benjamin Piper gets the move done. Gallo is wide again. He touches the blue stuff, but he manages to keep the speed going on a loss side by side with Bruno Gallo as they come into Bendor. Gallo pulls out ahead again, and Loz will have to settle down behind them. And then we have Tom McDonald and Eric Scarney up into P8 from P14 on lap 1. What a start from them as well.
Oh, absolutely. Scani up to P8. That's a great start from the Ferrari driver. They jump up into P8. They start a long way down. But no, there was a lot of potential calamity between Rose, Burs, Death, and Gallo on that race start. Like, that could have ended very, very badly. But they've all managed to get through, mostly in one piece. There were a few yellow flags, but no safety car, so we can keep going with this race and just follow along with how things go. As he's Tom McDonald getting very, very close to the back of Arnold, and he's gonna potentially have a go into the chicane. No, he's holding the nose in there. He's still gonna try anything he can, but it will be onto the Mistral straight that he will get quite the benefit from quite a chunky BMW.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the Ferrari has the legs on the BMW. The BMW is a little bit sort of one of its party tricks is just being an absolute weapon in a straight line, but McDonald is in prime position to take care of the slipstream and potentially get a benefit from it. There we start seeing pulling in closer. Will they have the speed to pull out and pull past, or will they hit a brick wall? And there you can see the speed deficit is just not quite enough. Loz manages to keep the inside. McDonald around the outside of Sainz. That is a spectacular move. And Eric Scarney has been sent around there It looks as though it was Patrick Oliver up the inside who made contact with the right end rear side of Eric Scani's car, and he will not be happy after a spectacular lap 1. That is a big old oopsie there for Eric Scani.
Yeah, he'll be very, very disappointed and probably a little bit angry as well. But that was a stunning move from McDonald around the outside at scene, if you don't mind. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, it takes some big kahunas to go around outside there, but also it takes a lot of respect from the car on the inside to give you that space and make sure that the contact is avoided. It's very, very easy just to understeer wide into the car going around outside, but credit to both drivers there, they did it beautifully.
Indeed, they did.
And yeah, just to confirm, Ferox or Spidey, sorry, no mandatory stops this week. So it's just a 1 hour, 60-minute race. No pit stops, no tire changes. That's not the line there, Mr. Fisher, as they take the scenic route through turn 1 and 2. But yeah, it's going to be interesting first couple of laps. Things should be pretty calm. I say that as we see a yellow flag in the background. Lucas Burrs under pressure, Sasha Def a little bit ahead of him, and look at the gap between Mia Rose and Sasha Def, 3 seconds already. Sasha Def got past Lucas Burrs on that previous lap. We didn't get that on screen, not quite sure where that happened, but now he is under pressure from a very, very speedy Audi and a very, very speedy Porsche.
Yes, but that Nissan just runs in a straight line. The turbo just flies, and now we see Gallo up the inside of Piper into scene. That's going to be very, very tight between those drivers. Neither of them's giving an inch, but Piper will now have, yeah, the line going into Rosé and gets, well, holds on to P4.
And that was fantastic driving by Piper there to maintain the superior speed difference around the outside there. You can just see Burrs. He has the benefit on the straight, that's for sure, but that car is just not quite as good as any of the other cars in these really sort of tight and twisty bits, especially this final sector and that first sector. I think we've had our first def at Scene's corner there. Car looks like car 33 had a big old off there.
And it's super, super easy to lose it at scene. I mean, you could get help from another car, or you just take a bit too much curve, or a bit too much speed. Yeah, it's so many things that can go wrong at that corner. So we see car 20 picks up a 10-second penalty for out of position on lap 1. That is Paul Kranich.
Okay, that's weird. It looked fairly well lined up when they were coming down the line there, but maybe just a little bit too much of a gap or something. Looks as though Tatlian has dropped down the field a little bit as well. Not quite sure what exactly happened there, but Liu on debut in P9, so very good from him there. Car 266, that's Gullick, also a penalty for out of position on lap 1.
So a few drivers getting some sneaky penalties there. They'll need to make sure they hold the gap, because of course there's no pit stops in this race, so no need to be serving your penalties.
Those type of penalties are so frustrating because it's completely unnecessary. You just need to follow the car ahead of you closely. Don't worry about anybody else behind you or next to you. Just follow the car close to you in the front and you won't get a penalty. But some people drop back a little bit or whatever the case is. Benjamin Piper putting some pressure on Burrs here as we get a replay of how Sasha got through on Burrs. Look at the speed difference between the Ferrari. Or is that just rubber banding? No, it's just rubber banding. Okay.
But I reckon Burrs makes a mistake here. No, keeps it. Oh, there's the mistake. And that just allows death up the inside of Berset. Now into Bendor, the Ferrari will have the better turn and the better braking and is able to get it done. So that is a really nice move.
Very well done there, opportunistic from Sasha. They saw the tiniest of mistakes there from Lucas and was able to capitalize immediately, and that put Piper very close to Burrs, but not close enough to do anything. Why is Gallo in front of Piper all of a sudden?
Likely an overtake or something, I'd assume.
Well, yes, okay. I think the overtake was assumed, but I'm wondering what happened because he was putting pressure on Burs, and then all of a sudden he's behind a Porsche. And John saying the Audi tops out at 280, so wonder if that's different in a slipstream or not. But that is not quite fast enough to be driving past people on the straight. Maybe the Porsche, because the Porsche isn't exactly renowned for its straight line speed.
At least this Porsche is better than the old one. The
Yeah, that's true.
old Porsche was a dog. Oh dear, that's close. Ah!
Oh! Okay, that could have ended much worse than it did.
They
So
were looking like they were going to collide about 5,000 times down the straight. Then they ultimately did, going to scene, but somehow no one's died. As I just see, what's that? Patrick Hall over there. Try for move. Now here is how Geller gets past. Oh, just a bit of a swapper there for Piper.
that's a strange one. Usually that happens a little bit earlier through the corner, but then again, the Audi with its weird sort of wheelbase, it's quite short apparently and quite on edge most of the time. So maybe just got out of shape a little bit and overcorrected ever so slightly, and that allowed Gallo to get through. But he has gotten back past, and he'll be trying to chase down Lucas Burs yet again.
I like this from Ferox. Albanian washing machines are better than the old Porsche in a straight line.
I was not aware that Albanian washing machines were renowned for their straight line speed, but you know, every day is a classroom. And apparently, Josh Holmes was taken out 3 times on lap 1, which is about 3 times more than you would like to be taken out on lap 1. So, not an ideal start there for them in this race. But there's still 50 minutes to go, so a lot of time to recover. But if you've had to complete a pit stop due to some damage or something like that, then it's a big old ask to get back up to the field as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Without the mandatory pit stop, you are pretty much at race done if you have to make a pit stop for repairs.
Alfandani saying Porsche with the right driver could be very fast. I mean, Bruno Gallo is an SRO level driver, so he's about as right a driver as you're going to get. And he has done some spectacular things. I just think this is maybe one of those tracks where it is slightly at a deficit still, even if it is faster in a straight line. Maybe if we can, on the next lap, get an onboard on the straight to see what kind of speed they're doing down the straight, just to see where they're sitting in relation to some of the other cars, because most cars will be doing sort of 282, 283, somewhere around there, maybe up to 285 if you're running a mental low wing setup. So anything under that, then you're going to struggle in Paul Ricard, because that straight is basically the majority of the track.
Yeah, you have about 60% corners, 40% mistral straight.
Race pace here, 55.2 there. Fastest lap for Gallo, 55.3 on that lap, 56.3 for Arno Loz on the previous lap. So a bit of a slower lap there for him. But I think we will see the lap times drop down towards the end of the race quite significantly, maybe a little bit more than you will see at most tracks. I think between this track, Zandvoort, and Barcelona, those are your top 3 tire killers, unless I'm missing an obvious one. But Liu here all over the back of Arno Loz on debut, really putting on a show, putting the pressure on Loz. Let's see what a BMW can do against a BMW down the Mistral.
Yes, Lou is having a great race, although I think the BMW is a fairly solid car around here from what I can remember. But that does not take away anything from Lou's performance. Like, this is same car, so there's no real excuses here. And great stuff from Grant Lou. Who's going to go down the inside. Scene. This is going to be very tight as we see 282 for the BMW there, and Lou gets down the inside with ease and up into P8. So great move.
Yeah, brave there, moved out at the last moment. Loss gave him the space, and Lou got the move done, and he looks as though he has the pace to start chasing down Pat Oliver and Tom McDonald right ahead of them as well.
know, and not too far ahead of McDonald is Gallo, Piper, Burrs, and Death. So this is looking very good for Lou so far, as we got car 7 a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1. That is Brimblecombe, who is down in P23.
This gold fella, that's not great, but it does happen. It's a very easy track for incidents to happen. Now let's see what Lou can do against Oliver and McDonald just ahead of him. It's not the spread ahead of these guys isn't that much, apart from Mia Rose, who's just running a race on her own again. The spread in the top sort of 7, 8, 9 drivers even isn't particularly big. Bruno Gallo dropped a little bit back from Piper at the moment, but that's still a very surmountable gap at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, Def, Burrs, Piper all up close together now, so see if Gallo is able to find a little bit of time. Right now, 2.5 seconds back from Piper, as we see Vintner gets a 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1.
I think that's an incorrect bot. I think it's Sakanyas.
Sakanyas, yes.
Let's see, Liu got a good run, so he's just ahead of this, and he's very close to Oliver as they were coming out of the final sector. Be interesting to see if he's able to get the run. No, he's not quite close enough, but he's getting there, and he's very close in the slipstream, so one more lap, and potentially he will be within proper striking distance, unless he absolutely sends it here and just strikes right now, which he didn't. As we see another penalty there, car 222. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but another 15-second penalty.
That would be Damo Icarus. Damo Icarus, who has the car number 222. That will be a penalty for him. Yes, there we go. Just down the bottom there. P23 is Icarus.
Just popped up.
As we see, oh, this is tight there, Lou. Potentially around the outside of Patrick Culver, but this is a great race so far, but you have to be careful on those track limits. Gonna need to be very careful. The pace of Lou, though, is very good, a 55.2. That's his best lap of the race so far.
It's piling the pressure onto Oliver here. Just needs to stick nice and close. This sort of gap, getting this close at the start of the Mistral, and that's pretty much a guaranteed overtake, I would say. Although the Lambo is no slouch in a straight line, I don't think it's going to be much of a match for BMW. This is such a tricky corner, coming onto the straight, so easy for the rear to step out ever so slightly, and then you just bleed time. But it looks as though he got a decent exit. It's probably about 3 or 4 tenths behind. Now let's see what the BMW is capable of doing against the Lambo. And Lambo's sort of initial acceleration onto the Mistral there is fantastic.
Yes, very good is the Lambo onto the Mistral, but now you can see the BMW start to gain some time, but it won't be enough. But depending on his run through scene, he might be able to have a look through per se. But I think he's just going to have to hold on for now, although Patrick Oliver is very wide. He's going to have to go down the inside. Oh, that is aggressive defending there from Patrick Oliver.
Consider that door shut. So he had the opportunity, wanted to go for it, and the opportunity very, very quickly got taken away. And he will have to find another opportunity to get past Patrick Oliver there. Oliver got a little bit out of shape coming through scenes there, and then just obviously had to defend quite aggressively. But these guys don't want to battle too much, because Onolos is just behind them, and they don't want him getting involved in this fight either.
No, not at all.
Let's see, Leo had a bit of a poor final sector there after the attempted move, and you can see they're a second slower than he was on his previous lap. So he'll be looking to settle down again and regroup and figure out how to get past that Lamborghini. It doesn't seem as though the straight will be the best option for him at the moment.
No, he's going to find some other way that he can get past.
And just a quick little shout out there to Aiden Payne. P11 for the leading AM driver. That's a fantastic showing by him so far.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that is great stuff from Payne. He's kept out of trouble so far and is it's paying dividends for him right now. Still 41 minutes to go, but anything can happen.
He does have George Cook in the lead McLaren in this race, very, very close to the back of him. So he's not that he's not under pressure, as we see Patrick Oliver there gets a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 2. That would have been the incident with Eric Scarney, who is still down in... Oh, that's very wide by Lou. That's a pretty much a guaranteed warning, I would say.
Yeah, if you go wide there at any point and go over those track limits bollards, you'll get a track limits warning.
We see Energy Kid pointing out that Tatlian on a recovery drive when last time I saw he was P21. He's currently up to P15. So marching his way through the field nicely. Unfortunately, not quite where he was running in the top 10 a little bit earlier, but on his way back up towards that type of position.
Looks like Lucas Burrs has managed to get past Sasha Def somewhere along the line, and now Piper is right there with Def. His car 15 gets a 10-second penalty. As here is Piper now on Death around the outside. They make contact, and around goes Death. Oh dear.
Oh goodness. That was an unfortunate one there for Piper. Just got out of shape on the curb. And unfortunately for him, when he lost it, there was a Ferrari on the inside.
Yes, no, that is very, very unfortunate. But Death is still there in P8, so hasn't lost a lot of time out of it, but has lost enough. There's car 5. That is Loz. Arno Loz getting a penalty for a collision on lap 5.
Only a 5-second penalty, so that's quite a light penalty for a collision.
Would have only just been the slightest of taps, I'd say. Likely just one that took a driver off the road but didn't like demolish them completely. Just more like a slight tap that just unsettled their car and he gained an advantage out of it somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Patrick Oliver there very close to the back of McDonald, and those two fighting will allow these three to join back up. McDonald had a bit of a poor lap there. He was quite a bit more ahead of Oliver not too long ago. But now Oliver all over the rear of him, and Oliver knowing he has that 10-second penalty, he needs to get going and build some gaps. So the penalty won't affect his finishing position too much. Oh, he goes deep there. That's not ideal. We'll give him a good run into the braking zone for the final corner, but not really much time to gain there. And Sasha Def already trying to recover right on the back of Liu there, going to try and find a way through as soon as possible.
Yep, it's recovery time for Death. Lou will be the first of their many targets, you'd assume. But, yeah, no, out in front of Lou, we've got, this McDonald-Oliver battle. Oliver, he really got to get past soon if he wants to hold a P5 position at all, but he seems to be dropping back a bit from McDonald now.
I mean, based on the first 22 minutes of the race, I don't think he really has the pace to pull that sort of gap. As we see, Def there send it up the inside of the hairpin, not really a great overtaking opportunity, and then gets all kinds of compromised on the exit there. And that was just a little bit of patience needed to hang back until you get to the straight and then attempt an overtake. You're always going to run into some compromised lines if you're going side by side through that final part of the first sector.
You know, Death's normally a lot better than that in deciding where to make a move. Definitely not ideal, but that's allowed Loz to get into the slipstream of Lou again, but won't be able to do anything into scene. Patrick Oliver still all over the back of McDonald, but these two battles have sort of departed from one another a little bit. As Loz gets out very, very wide, and that allows Sasha Def up the inside of Bosay. Now into Bendor corner. You'd think Death would have it. Yes. So Sasha Def regains that position they lost at the start of the lap.
In the background, not currently on screen, but I'm seeing it on my other screen, George Cook attempting to overtake Aiden Payne. but the McLaren just does not have the legs to get past the Ferrari on the straight, although Payne does let him through towards the end of the straight, so he drops down into P12 there for the McLaren driver. But that sort of mistake there from Loz and the overtake from Def has allowed Lou a little bit of breathing space, and he'll be looking to chase forward, get back onto the rear of Patrick Oliver, who's all over the rear of Tom McDonald. And that's only a 3.6-second gap to Bruno Gallo. So with 36 minutes left to play, there's still all to go for towards the end of this race.
Absolutely, still plenty of time. Now, Paddy Oliver is all over the back of McDonald now, seems to have regained a little bit of that pace, and will have nice slipstream going onto the straight, you'd think, although McDonald gets a really nice run out of the corner there onto the Mistral. So Paddy Oliver will just have to hold back for a little bit, but all this is doing is inviting Lou back into the occasion.
And one thing for all of these guys to consider is the likelihood that Piper might be getting a penalty after the incident with Def a couple of laps ago. So there's at least, if it is decided to be a penalty, it's most likely going to be a 10-second penalty or so. And all of these drivers are within 10 seconds. In fact, Piper would drop down almost out of the top 10, which just shows you how competitive this top 10 is in split yellow.
And Piper's lost a lot of pace after that incident, so I wonder if he has just a bit of damage that's affecting his pace, because Gallo is now right there and Burrs is well clear now, 4 seconds clear of Piper.
Yeah, and Mia Rose almost 10 seconds clear of Lucas Burrs. They've only done 13 laps, so she's about 7 or 8 tenths lap faster than Lucas Burrs. And that is mighty impressive from Mia Rose there in the BMW.
Absolutely, Mia Rose is just on an absolute run right now. She's been very, very quick and very, very consistent lately.
Bruno Gallo, as you mentioned, very close to Benjamin Piper now, but will the Porsche have enough legs to get past the Audi? That is an interesting challenge. But we do, as you said, a little bit of a wounded Audi, so that could potentially help Bruno Gallo to get something done as they start approaching the straight there. 2 more corners to go. And then we will see, not quite close enough on this occasion, but let's see what the sort of deficit will be by the end of the straight.
Yeah, normally I'd say the Porsche wouldn't have the legs for it, but given the condition of that Audi and how slow it is on straight line, anyways, he's doing 56.3s. His best is a 54.4, so definitely lost a lot of time. Now let's take a look at that straight line speed. 275, 76, 77, 78, 278. So it is a little bit down on the 280 that we were expecting.
Yeah, but we'll get an indication of what the Porsche is capable of some stage as well. I don't think it'll be much better than that. In fact, I think it might be a little bit below that actually. But yeah, it looks as though Piper has sort of settled down a little bit again, brought that gap back up to about a second. Although the Audi does seem like a little bit of a handful coming through the final sector here. Lou within 7 tenths of Oliver on the last timing line. Sasha Def within 3/100ths of Lou at the last timing line. So they're back for another bite at the apple. Hopefully a little bit of patience this time, and they know they have the pace to pull away, so they just need to get that move done in a nice clean fashion.
Yes, indeed, as we take a look, 55.7 there for Gallo. I'll keep an eye on things, and yes, Death has managed to get past Lou. In fact, Lou's already dropped a second behind Death, so must have been a bit of a ding-dong battle, but Death got on top in the end.
I think it's referred to as a robust overtake.
Yes.
But yeah, now we'll see if Def has the pace to get past Oliver and McDonald. I think we know that they have the pace. It's just, as we all know, catching is always one thing. Overtaking is a completely different ball game. But Lou and Loz will do well to sort of try and stick together, pull back up towards that little battle pack that Def is about to join, and then potentially try and benefit from whatever kicks off between McDonald, Oliver, and Def, should there be some fireworks.
Death is looming ever present in Paddy Oliver's mirrors.
And in life. As we see, car 33, a drive-through penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 3. That
That
is
would be
a
Lee Perkins.
big old ouch.
Yes, that is a big penalty there for Lee Perkins.
So
That's
yeah, it's
all right.
I don't think Gallo has the pace to really get past Piper. It certainly doesn't seem that way. They're pretty evenly matched at the moment. Hello, Jan. How are you, Jan? Welcome to the race. But yeah, currently your top 10 is Miros, Burrs, Piper, Gallo, McDonald. Top 5 all pro drivers, and then Patrick Oliver, Sasha Def, Grant Liu, Onolos, and Matthew Herod, your top 10 at the moment. And apologies for the technical difficulties. There's just a couple of hamsters that are on strike for getting the wrong type of food. As we see Eric Scarney there getting a 10-second penalty for a collision. Not sure we saw that incident happen, but that is not ideal.
Aiden Payne's coming into the pits.
Grant Liu has a drive-through for track limits.
Right. So Lou will have to come into the pits for a drive-through. Payne is in the pits. I did not see any drive-through there. So is that a pit stop? Did they? Did Aiden Payne think we were?
Are they
Pits
car 323 or 333?
323.
Okay, because 333 got a drive-through for that
It
unsafe
was
rejoin.
just 33. That was a drive-through.
Okay, sorry. But yeah, I don't know, not sure what happened there, but that is a good way for Lou to ruin a pretty fantastic debut so far by getting a drive-through for track limits. And we did mention it earlier, it's a very easy track to rack up those warnings. And Lou putting on a masterclass there of how to speed run a drive-through.
Yes, indeed. So,
That is a
take a look at
lot of
the
penalties.
look at the Christmas tree we've got going.
I mean, this split yellow really should be split red because there's always a lot of red on their standing board. But yeah, unfortunately, it is the case with a track like this where side-by-side racing is pretty sort of easy to do, but it's also very easy to make small mistakes, as we saw earlier with Benjamin Piper. Side by side, dipped the wheel onto the curb, and the car just kicked out a little bit, and that caused a big old accident. But very simple to happen to pretty much anybody.
Yes, indeed. As we look now at Josh Holmes there in P27.
That is a back marker ahead of him, I guess, because that is definitely not a GTR.
Yes, it's a weird looking GTR if it is one. Oh
Oh,
dear. That is Kranich. And I don't know who the other car involved was.
car 27, it looked like Tsukanias.
It was Sicanius, who already has a 15-second penalty, so... Oof.
Greenwich with a penalty of his own as well, and then both of them coming together. I'm going to hazard a guess, without seeing the incidents, I'm going to hazard a guess of somebody carried more speed and just tapped the rear of somebody, and then they both sort of clattered into each other going off, and Scanias dives into pit lane. I'm assuming it was quite a big incident then, if they're having to repair the damage.
Yeah, that would be what you'd assume.
You see there, Sasha Def half a second behind Patrick Oliver. Patrick Oliver half a second behind Tom McDonald. And Loz has dropped back from that pack a little bit. We go on board here with Hanikuri and Tatlian. Tatlian up to P11 already on that recovery drive, which is
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
great recovery from Tatlian so far. This has been a nice drive from the debutant. Hasn't gone all of his way tonight, but he's making the most of it as Piper has come in. So I'm assuming that damage was a little too much to contain.
It's
Or
Interesting.
are these drivers just forgetting that it is a no-stop race?
That is also potentially true. I mean, we saw some drivers who are racing later today asking the question in chat as well. So potentially they did, or potentially just maybe trying that different strategy, running a bit lower fuel and then going all out on the tires. Don't think it's going to work out particularly well.
No, I don't think that's really the strategy you want to be going with. I'll be honest.
And given that it's what, about a minute, almost a minute and 10-second loss here for a perfect pit stop if you don't have any damage to repair or anything. So you're gonna have to go uh, quite a few seconds a lap faster to catch back up the gap you will create by performing a pit stop.
Yeah, it's a baffling strategy, to say the least.
But towards the front, Lucas Burrs sort of maintaining that gap a little bit. It's only up to 11 seconds now, and it was 10 seconds about 5 minutes ago. So um, possible tire issues, maybe flat spot, says Craigdale. Possibly. I mean, it was a little bit of a slide after that incident, so that could potentially be one of the reasons. But it's quite interesting to see Sasha Dev really not able to get past the Lamborghini so far. Been very close to the back of Oliver for a few laps now, and yet unable to get through. Scani there back up to P12 as well. Unfortunately, he does have that penalty, which will drop him down a little bit, but decent recovery from him as well. Not quite as good as Tatlian, who is now up into P10 as well, with Benjamin Piper diving into the pit lane.
And he's come out in P18, 13 seconds behind Brimblecombe, so yeah, I'm not too sure about this one.
Unless he's lapping 52s consistently all the way to the end, I don't think the strategy is going to play out.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. Agreement there.
So yeah, another good performance from George Cook as well. He's running P9. Currently the lead McLaren. There's only about 3 or 4 McLarens in the split anyway. But Riley Price there down in P14. Ben Wintner,
No, that is
Zakanias. So getting that stop code 10 for causing a collision on lap 18. That would be the incident with Greenwich there. That would be interesting to see because a stop code 10 is
Sicanius has not left pit lane since I've come in, so yeah, I'm assuming they're done.
that's one of the biggest sticks that the stewards have at their disposal, and they don't use it often. So you really need to earn it if you're going to be getting it. So yeah, I'm assuming he got a fair chunk of damage from whatever the incident was. But yeah, let's see how it is going towards the end. David Tatlian very, very close to the back of George Cook now. P9 is what he is battling for. Unfortunately, I think that's about as good as the recovery will get. It's a 13-second gap from Cook to Herod. But Tatlian can still try and close the gap towards the front a little bit in these last 23 minutes of the race.
And that would be quite the ask for Tatlian if they were to climb up to the back of Herod, but they've got to get past Cook first. But just under 4 tenths back from the McLaren driver. Oh, whoa! You do not want to be doing that, Benny Piper. Oh dear, yeah, okay, that Audi is doing Audi things.
Maybe he didn't like the way that the new tires felt, so he wanted to give them that old tire feeling, like a little bit quicker. Just decided to get a big old slide on and absolutely ruin them 2 laps into the stint. But he's taken 2 seconds out of Brimblecombe on the first lap or so. Probably maybe lost a couple of tenths with his off-track excursion there, but you know he's only going to be able to gain back maybe 2 or 3 positions after the pit stop.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what's happened there with Piper making the stop, but either way, it will not be paying off. We had a side by side there as we look back at Eric Scarney now running in P12. Nope. Correct. Tatleon. Cook. That's alright. But here is George Cook, and Tatleon's got to go up the inside of C. No. It's very close. Oh, that is actually the car, I believe. Aiden Payne. 3-2-3. 10-second penalty for causing collision. Yeah. Yeah, that is the actual driver. So Aiden Payne has picked up a 10-second penalty there.
That's a shame for them. They started this race beautifully with a great qualifying performance and running up in P11 or P12 at some stage. And now all the way back in P21 with a 10-second penalty to their name. Fortunately for them, everybody else also has penalties in that area, so they won't be losing any positions, I don't think, because of the penalty. So, but yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate race there for Aiden Payne. It started so well, but in the end, fortunately, didn't quite go their way.
No, not at all. That puts Stockton in a nice position, who is currently P25 overall in the standings, but P2 in the AM class standings. And without Joe Williams tonight, Stockton could pick up a few points that would be quite useful in that little championship battle.
Yeah, not sure how many points P17 is, but it'll be about 30, maybe, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that'll bring him right up close. It'll bring him within about 10 or so points of Joe Williams.
Exactly, just puts him into striking
And
distance
you
now.
also have to account for the fact that Brimblecombe has 10 seconds.
That's also true. And I think that side by side we saw briefly earlier was actually Stockton and Brimblecombe. So Brimblecombe getting through on Stockton there. Look at the BMW versus the McLaren. Will he have the overspeed by the end of it? Cook goes defensive. Tatlian moves to the outside. And that is very, very close to each other there. Does both of them do well to avoid each other, and Cook will hopefully potentially maintain the position here. Tatlian goes for the little undercut that usually ends in tears as this corner just sort of closes towards the end, and Cook manages to stay ahead. It looks as though the McLaren just about has the legs to be able to defend against the BMW here.
You know, that McLaren looks to just have enough in it through the corners to withhold the BMW, but Tatlian gets a good run onto the Mistral straight. He should be through.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. From what I've seen, the BMW should do about 285 if it's running I think about 5 wing or so, which is safe enough from my very limited understanding. And that's about the same that the McLaren can do with 0 wing. So if both of these guys are running those type of setups, then it should be a pretty close old drag race on that long straight here at Mistral. As they're coming to the exit here of the first sector, we'll get another round of the battle.
Emphasis on the drag of that drag race, because there would be a lot of drag going down this straight.
So let's see what the BMW is capable of doing. Is in the perfect range of the slipstream here. 250 keeps climbing up to T60, 270. Now where will he top out? He's not closing in enough to be able to do anything. 282, 283, 284, 285, 285 is all he got there. And that won't be enough to get through on the McLaren down the straight there.
No, he needs a bit more than that, but is he going to have a go at the inside? Bose, this is going to be very tight. Oh, he's actually gotten a long way up the inside, and it's managed to do it. What a move from Tatlian.
Yeah, very well done. Very difficult to keep it tight there and carry the speed, but he somehow pulled it off. George Cook got a little bit out of shape mid-corner. As we see a car off in the background, it looked like car 195 with a drive-through for Eric Scarney. So probably one of those big old slides into a warning, into a drive-through there, and he has returned to garage and has had enough for today.
Yeah, and yeah, he's left. He's done. He's at it. He's at it. Oh dear, Eric Scarney. What a shame. Well,
So,
we keep moving on. So Death has managed to get past Oliver now and is now chasing after McDonald to get back up into P4 potentially.
it took a long time for Dave to get through on Oliver, so Lamborghini obviously a very difficult car to overtake as well. And Tatlian finally through on Cook now, 16 minutes remaining. The gap to Herod is 15 seconds. So I have a lot of trust in Nick Tatlian based on the performance they put in this recovery drive, but I don't think they'll be able to bridge that gap to Matthew Herod for P8 at the moment.
No. Doesn't look like we have much in the way of battles anywhere else, although Oliver and Death are still going at it. Looks like Paddy Oliver might have gotten past Death again.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe they've made a small mistake there.
I have a feeling it was just all on the straight, just that Lamborghini and the slipstream of the Ferrari. It was only by a few hundredths, so yeah, I just have a feeling it was all down to the Mistral.
Which is quite
Keep an eye on
strange
this book.
because when the new Lamborghini came out, that was like its biggest weakness was top end speed, just due to the aero it was designed. But maybe with all the recent updates and a little bit of buffs and weight reductions, etc., it has gotten a little bit better top speed and is able to overtake and defend quite well. But Def is back through again on Oliver as well. And through all that battling, Laws has closed the gap from about 2.5 to 1.6 seconds. So he's close enough to gain the position on Oliver, even though they both have penalties. Laws only has a 5-second penalty. And he is far enough ahead of Herod just at the moment to avoid losing any positions behind him as well.
So we have just under 15 minutes to go in this race. Mia Rose is absolutely flying out front. We'll keep an eye on what the gap is back to Burrs, but I'd say it is quite large, yes. 12.6 seconds, if you don't mind. That is speed.
Well, it does mean that Burrs is slightly more competitive in the dry than in the wet, because last week she won by, what was it, about 30 seconds at the end of the race? So he's kept her in check quite well this week, based on last week's performance. Bruno Gallo, he's sort of running in a little bit middle of nowhere there, 7 seconds behind Burrs, 5 seconds ahead of Tom McDonald. No real pressure from the back or nobody to chase at the front, which when you're running P3 is not necessarily a bad situation to be in.
That's it.
So Sasha Def 2.6 seconds behind Tom McDonald, so they certainly lost a little bit of time with all the battling as Patrick Oliver turns me into a sheep for a couple of seconds there and manages to save it, but that's going to give Arno Laws a great run onto the main straight here. Will he be able to pull alongside before the end of the straight? I don't think so. Paul Greenwich, just a little bit of a poor area to be caught as a blue flag. Very difficult to move out of the way there. And Patrick Oliver, a little bit late on the brakes maybe, and locks up the rears, but manages to save it nicely. But he's going to be under all sorts of pressure now from Loz. Loz very late on the brakes, but not as late as Oliver. And they're going to come to the Mistral Straight, where we've seen on previous occasions the BMW maybe just doesn't have the kick to, or the grunt to get past that Lambo.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting how that BMW just hasn't quite had the speed, because that Lambo gets a great run onto the Mistral. Then as you get later on, the BMW starts to pick up some speed, but Arno Loz is slowly gaining right now. But is that going to be enough going into Scene? That he's got a lot more pace in that BMW in a straight line than what Tatlian had before. It's not quite enough there, but he gets a nice run through Scene.
Yeah, I think his problem is just, as you said, the way that Lamborghini gets onto the straight. It's reminiscent of what the GTR used to be able to do. It wasn't. Its top line speed isn't that great, but the way it gets there is much more effective than some other cars, and maybe that's just where the Lambo shines. It's that sort of mid to final acceleration where it's just a little bit better than the BMW. BMW overall has a higher top speed, but it just takes a little bit longer to get there. And the straight, however long it is just not quite long enough for that benefit to come into play for Loz here.
And that's it. Yeah, he's just gotta almost needs a straight that's a little bit longer, but there again, the Mistral's already the longest straight we have. I would think.
I would think so. That he needs the runway from Fast and Furious 7 or Fast and Furious 8, whichever one it
Yeah,
was with the ridiculous runway.
the
Gets a
Bonneville
great,
salt flats.
yeah, pretty much. Gets a great run out of turn 2 there, but he's just, I think the Lambo's just a little bit better on the brakes there as well. So sort of really comes and goes throughout the lap. There's certain areas where the Beamer is very much better. Can't get much closer than that. That's about as good as you're gonna do. And Patrick Oliver compromises his line. Surely he can get him this time around. Can't get any closer than that by the start of the straight. Now let's see if he's able to get through. Will he move out? No, he's not. He's waiting for Patrick Oliver to open the door for him, which is not going to happen.
Waiting as long as possible, trying to have that slingshot effect down into the corner. Because once you move out, it's just a brick wall of air that comes at you. And yeah, no, Patrick Oliver defends the inside quite well.
That Lamborghini is mighty impressive in a straight line because he is able to defend fairly comfortably, and I don't think you'll get a better run as Loz onto the straight. So he's going to need to be pretty creative if he wants to get through on the AVR Lamborghini here.
It was almost too close going onto the straight because he had to hold behind Patrick Oliver for a long time, so he wasn't quite able to get that slingshot effect that he may have wanted going into Scene Corner.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, you want to be roughly about like 3 or 4 tenths behind before you start the straight to get that maximum sort of slingshot slipstream. But yeah, I just don't think he has the legs to get through. So Patrick Oliver just needs to keep it nice and tidy, and he'll be able to stay ahead on track. Of course, it's all for naught because of the penalties, but you never know what can happen in the last couple of minutes of the race. He can frustrate Loz.
He's got a drive through.
I was just about to say he can frustrate Loz into a drive through, and then he gets one himself.
That is very, very disappointing there for Patrick Oliver. He will not be happy with himself. But now what he can do is potentially back up Loz a little bit and bring Herod into the equation with that 5-second penalty that Loz has.
Let's see, he's a little bit better in terms of the spacing this time around. You just see the first half basically of the straight, the BMW just does not close at all.
Even coming through here, it doesn't really close much at all.
Wow, that's incredible from the Lamborghini. That's must be a fairly low wing setup as well that he must be running. But yeah, there's nothing you can do about that if you're the car behind. Ooh, he maybe just got another warning there, which is not going to help. But yeah,
I don't think you want to get 2 drive-throughs on the one lap.
No, that certainly won't be the cherry he wants to put on the top of this race. But it's going to be interesting to see how far that drive-through drops him down. It's about a 35 second pit transit from line to line, and of course not including the slowing down and getting back up to speed. So let's say a 38-second loss, which is going to drop him down to sort of Stockton area, I would say, maybe a little bit further behind than that.
35 minutes. That would be quite the pit lane.
Yeah, it's the Spa pit lane. Sorry, I got the.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, no, it'll probably be around where Stockton is. We'll just keep an eye on the positioning of the drivers.
Oh, he doesn't seem to be losing too much, actually.
Yeah, he's gonna come out just around where Curry is. As Curry's just coming across the line now. Keep an eye on the map. Yeah, just ahead of Curry actually. So hasn't lost as much time as we expected, but he still has that 10-second penalty.
Well, I've just proven how incredibly bad I am at math, because I just, what? Unless I missed one of the timing differences between some of the drivers there. But anyway, he won't be too upset about that, losing only, what, 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, no, he'll be pleased. He'll be relatively pleased, but now he has to push on a little bit.
I don't think he'll be too concerned about Kuri being able to do anything about him, based on how he's been able to defend against Loz for the most part there. And we see Grant Liu still trying to recover after earlier incidents. And will he be able to get past Kuri? I can't see why the BMW shouldn't be able to get past a Porsche, and he just drives right past him.
Easy as you like.
I think Honor Loz would have been much happier if Patrick Oliver was in a Porsche. Apparently you can overtake that one. The Lambo, not quite so much.
Yeah, you don't even need to get to scene to overtake the Porsche. You just get it slipstream and waltz on by.
Looks as though Brimblecombe is pretty close to Withers as well there. Trying to recover, of course, 10-second penalty. Will lose him 1 position at the moment, which is not too bad, all things considered. Should gain John Stockton that position. So the gap between Brimblecombe and Stockton has grown a little bit since Brimblecombe got past, but not enough to negate that 10-second penalty. But fortunately for Brimblecombe, the rest of Split Yellow also decided they wanted penalties, and that won't lose them too much. But Stockton will be very, very happy with a P16 finish here.
Yeah, certainly. He's got to get past Withers first. Or Withers has had a very solid race. I believe he started a little further down the field, but has had some consistency and has managed to find himself in P15 at the moment.
Of course, one of the few tracks where the Aston is still fairly competitive as well. It's been affected a little bit by recent updates, and it's not particularly strong at many tracks. But Paul Ricard is one where it can still perform fairly admirably, and he's doing a good job here, running in P15 under pressure from Brimblecombe, but he won't be too concerned if Brimblecombe does find his way through because of that penalty that Brimblecombe has to serve.
Yeah, no, that is quite helpful for Withers. So realistically, as long as he does not make any real big mistake, he should at least have P15 in the bag.
And Grant Liu, a bit of a case of deja vu here. He's chasing down Patrick Oliver again. Both of them have had their dramas throughout this race. Earlier in the race, there was a big old sort of chase down from Liu and Loz on the back of Oliver. And now he's having to do it again, about a second behind Oliver. There's about, where is Mia Rose on track? She's coming onto the straight, so there should be 2 more laps after this one. And let's see if Liu can catch up and make some magic happen by getting through.
Have a look. So yeah, Miro's, yeah, there we go, on the Mistral straight.
Oh!
Grant
Stockton, I think they
Liu.
were the rejoin.
You know, it's not. Oh, okay. Interesting strategy.
Just Alexis noises.
Yes, yes. Interesting ways of letting by drivers that are a lap ahead of you, but it works, I guess.
It's not ineffective, I would say.
It's not ineffective, but it's certainly not ideal in the slightest either.
Seeing as things are sort of drawing to a close here, not too many on-track battles going at the moment. Let's throw it over to chat and ask for a rating out of 10 for Paul Ricard as a circuit.
Piper has a drive-through penalty.
Okay, we'll give that a 0 out of 10 for race improvement. But yeah, let's get a rating for Paul Ricard as a track, as a driver, as a spectator, however you want to rate it. What do you think about Paul Ricard? 1 to 10. You could give it a 0 if you want, because that seems fairly justified based on the type of track. But yeah, let's get some opinions, and let's start with Mr. Alexis Bowen. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's probably a 7 out of 10. There's a lot of tarmac runoff here, so drivers aren't really punished for their instance of sorts. Oh, oh dear, is that Cook's? Is that Cook
That
there?
looked very second-hand.
Oh dear. Oh dear. No, I'd probably go a 7 out of 10. It's a good track, but it's definitely not like the best track in the world. Like,
Yeah, I'll give it a 5.7. For it makes for good racing, as we said, because you can go side by side. There's a couple of different lines you can take, but it is absolutely horrific, atrocious, horrible, terrible, horrific to hot lap. It's one of the most frustrating tracks to hot lap on. It has very little personality. I mean, Paul Ricard is French for a parking lot, I think. I'm not sure, I don't speak French, but it seems reasonable to assume that. It's just, I don't know. There's no personality, but it does make for good racing. So it does have some benefits. And speaking of good racing, here with George Cook going so slowly, Patrick Oliver and Grant Lew right onto the back of him. And Mia Rose will cross the line now. So these drivers will have an additional lap after this as well. And I'm pretty sure Cookie would have been hoping for this to be the final lap.
Gulick also has a drive-through penalty, so you get a penalty, you get a penalty, everyone gets a penalty. As Paddy Oliver now in the slipstream of Cook, now going into scene. He's going to be holding it very, very tight to the inside. Why are you giving us this camera view game? And Paddy Oliver around the outside. Has he managed to get the move done? Cook's going to have the inside into Bose. But Paddy Oliver's broke nice and late. Can Cook hold it up the inside, or is he going to back out? He's still got the nose half-heartedly in there. But Paddy Oliver gets the exit, and nice move indeed. Oh, and Lou potentially had a go, but can't force it. But he's still around the outside. No, no, no. Still, that is a very clean move from Paddy Oliver.
Yeah, very nicely done there. And Lou is going to have to stick to the back of uh, Cookie there like glue. Get it? To get an overtake done here. He has one more lap to try and make it work. And we've seen the McLaren is not an easy car to overtake, but it is possible. So let's see if he can pull off some absolute magic on the final lap here to get into the top 10, which would be a very, very strong recovery from him as well.
Oh, certainly. But he'll finish top 10 either way because of Paddy Oliver's penalty.
Yeah, true, but you know, as a racing driver, you want to do it on track, not with penalties, so he'll be giving it his all anyway.
Yeah, certainly. Oh, he was. I thought. Oh, yeah. I thought he was gonna have a go there. Oh, that would have been very, very tight. You've got to be patient. You've got a straight coming up, and you've got a little bit of pace in that BMW. But that McLaren's also very fast, and he's compromised his entry onto the straight a little bit. Mia races across the line, and there's one. Your race here for split yellow at Paul Ricard, but we'll stick on with Lou, who is closing on Cook, closing. He's going to have a go around the outside. This is going to be very, very tight between these two. Lou gets into the brick wall of air, and he's taking a very wide line. Can he get the exit? He's going to have to switch to the inside. This is going to be very, very tight between these two, but Cook's got it for now, but will Lou dive up the inside? No, he can't do it there. But he's got a few more opportunities if he really wants to send it. But I think Cookie might have this in the bag.
That was beautifully defended by George Cook there. Placed the car in all the right places. And Lou gave it his best shot around the outside of scenes, but very, very difficult to make that work. Still 2 corners to go here. Maybe an opportunity if he messes up. We see Mia Rose there in the parking lot. Lou tries it up the inside. That was optimistic, but probably never going to work. And they will cross the line in P10, 11 on track respectively, but will gain that position from the penalty. And we still have a couple more cars to cross the line before this session comes to an end.
Yes, and Piper has seemingly taken the full brunt of the penalty rather than serving the drive-through itself. So that is an additional 30 seconds to his end of race time.
Yeah, of course, we'll give you the final results once we take over. Once all these penalties have been applied, there'll be a fair amount of shuffling. Tatlian and Lou P1 and P2 in class as well. Yeah, very good performance there from the Red Rebel boys. And we take over, and we should be able to give you a quick rundown of the final results. Nope. I think we are just getting a restart.
That's all right. These sorts of things happen.
We apologize for these technical difficulties. Your regular scheduled programming will be continuing soon. Maybe.
Potentially.
If not, Alexis will sing you a beautiful song.
Oh, do you want mirrors to break?
No, that's why I don't look in them. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, diddly diddly. Bum bum bum, big one, small one, some as big as your head. As we get confirmation there from Aidan Payne, he pitted in a no-stop race, which is a bit of a boo-boo. Where is Bender with a fact when you need him?
There is a corner at this track named after Bender, but spelled with an O rather than an E.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm jumping in here to apologise for the technical difficulties that I landed on our wonderful commentators this evening. We have had a bit of a nightmare for the first half of the broadcast tonight, but we shall pull it all together and improve things for the second half. I am just trying to get something up for the team now so that they can see what the heck is going on.
You don't need to see what's going on to give commentary. This is the internet. You don't need to know facts to give opinions. And
What facts?
opinions. We have Sean Bubnow joining us in box. Good evening, Mr. Bubnow. How are we, sir?
I'm doing quite well, and yourselves?
Not too bad.
Yeah, doing all right.
Just trying to find my other mouse.
How was watching of Split Yellow?
Yeah, it was a good race overall. A lot of penalties, as we know with
Yes.
Split Yellow. A lot of penalties.
Plenty of
As
penalties.
we
Okay.
have some pixels here that we will try and decipher for you. It looks like Mia Rose on P1, Lucas Burrs in P2, and Bruno Gallo in P3. And then in the silver class, we have Arno Loz, is that George Cook, and Lamborghini. So I'm going to guess Patrick Oliver in P3. And then we have in the Pro-Am class, Tatlian, Liu, and Curry. And then in the AM class, we have Stockton, Payne, and
Bullock?
Gulick. Is it Gulick? Can't see. Yeah, Gulick is the final one there. So sorry, apologies for that. The stream is just on our side a little bit blurry. I'm not sure if it's only me, but
Nah, I've got
No,
it as well.
It is
Okay.
extremely blurry.
so but we
Okay,
and
I shall throw something on the screen for our intrepid chat to have a look at whilst we do a bit of a be right back and a bit of music, and we will try to pull our socks up and improve.
Would you look at that? It's qualifying time here for Split Green of the OR Sprint Series here at Paul Ricard. Joining me in the loving comms box is Sean Bubb. Now, how you going, Sean?
Not too bad, Hobbsy, and yourself on this fine evening.
Look, not too bad. Looking forward to a touch of qualifying here. We can see Connor Hind doesn't know where the track limits are. Yep. Udistira at the moment, 53.2 in the current conditions. That's a great lap to start. I'm seeing a common theme in the top four at the moment, but we'll gloss over that one.
Yeah, I'm not worrying about the yellow.
No.
We're just talking about the ones below that. Yeah. But those that have joined the stream at the moment, if you're not aware, this is Paul Richard.
Good old Paul Ricard. Lovely.
Yeah, lovely track. Your thoughts on the track, Mr. Hobbs?
You really want to know my thoughts?
Okay, moving on from that, because Hobbsy clearly doesn't.
No, it's. I don't hate the track. I definitely wouldn't put it in tracks that I hate, but not a fan. Good, give some good racing as we saw in the last race. But yeah, I think for me personally, not really top tier for me.
I think it's
that was top tier line though. Did you see that? Wow.
There. But I think it's just one of those tracks that it's very unforgiving in the sense that if you make one little oopsie daisy in any part of Sector 1, you're
and valid again.
And case in point. Now you've got to wait a minute 45 or whatever time frame to get around to try.
Yeah,
again.
another minute 20. It's okay.
Yeah, we've only got the 8 minutes of quali remaining, so I think it was a 15-minute quali off the top of my head. But obviously we had a little bit of technical difficulties that Glenn, our magic hamster in the wheel, has finally fixed out for the lovely
Great.
Not doing a fine effort, good sir. We can't thank you enough. But not one of my fan tracks here because I never seem to do well in it, and won't be able to do so at the moment anyway, so that's fine. But as we can see, G. Coleman has decided he wants to step up his authority onto the second step of the podium at the moment with
You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, good song too. But
yeah.
what's that, 53.6? That's pretty pacey.
It is a 53, only a 50, almost a 53.5. So I'm like 6:02 there if my maths is right. But Connor Hind here, however you want to pronounce it, butcher 100 times. Hindy, whoever. He's got the pole up there. He's definitely got it there. He just needs to put it together valid. That one.
With the red not being there, he needs to keep it as a this nice color of white. Although it's not a color, is it? It's more of a shade.
No, interestingly, Luke Johnson's only 2/100ths off.
Yeah, so once again, the usual suspects up the front, showing us that they like to be up there well and truly every single track that we provide them. And yes, can confirm with chat, Glenn is legend.
Absolutely. Well, you can't say no to Glenn, can you? He's the king.
That's it. But yeah, once again, usual suspects. Instead of that, I'm going to butcher this. You said it earlier, but I'm going to butcher it. That Udistra, maybe?
Udistira is what I had in mind.
Close enough. We're both going to ruin it. We're probably both very wrong. But that's a new face, I believe.
It is.
Giacomin,
a fast face.
A very fast face. Giacomin, Hind, Johnson, Wittner, Hignett, Smith, Hingston, Lee, and Maloney. Rashidi down at 11. That's a bit low for Rashidi at the moment, but 6 minutes remaining in quali. I'm sure that top of the table will get turned upside down and back to front and all that before the end of this session.
I think we've got John Sneakers making fun of Glenn for being a Kiwi there. I don't know how Glenn feels about that one.
Yeah, look. I'm not going to touch that one, am I?
Yeah, I might just jump in there.
Yeah.
I'm born and bred Australian.
Oh,
just
suck
because I live
that.
here.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with NZ.
No. Well, yeah, but Australia's better though. That's the thing.
John?
Is it though?
Mm.
Yeah. See, you've got doubt in your own state.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's a nice line there from Hignett for Pizza Planet Race. I love that. I can't not like that name.
That has
That's
to be
great.
your favourite team name.
It might be. Oh, 4.5 tenths off. That's a nice lap. 53.6. I reckon there's a bit more in that.
I'm sure Ben will dial up the little settings, the sliders, random clicking, all those fun things on the setup menu, and try and make that car a little bit more pointy to try and pip the top runners. But Ricard here, showing us that that red number is what most of the fast drivers seem to be doing, even though he is carrying 3 tenths of good delta.
Yeah, it's unfortunate seeing the invalidation. You just think, yeah, so where in Sector 1 did he invalidate that? Because I'm guessing it's turn 1 or 2. Oh, I'm sorry, rephrase. The whole of Sector 1 it could be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is many opportunities to invalidate. As we all know, to get the most of the speed out of this track, you do have to absolutely be on the limit of this track. Because it is very unrelenting in that fact as well. But Giacomin here, slightly down in his delta, coming through a Sector 1, end of Sector 1, but just gained an absolute bucket load of time there. 2 tenths up and still gaining. Lost a little bit on the exit there, coming onto the Mistral straight here, but
That is the worst corner on this track. I'm going to say it now.
oh, I don't mind it. It is a bit complicated, but for me, it's the left-hander after the double right.
Ooh, that's, yeah, I'll give you that. That's
just
definitely a shout.
I just can't seem to work it out when I'm trying to lap. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the late apex or the way the corner.
It's called
goes.
brake, turn, accelerate.
Well, okay, I'll try that next time I get my hands on a. Oh, that's.
Ooh, that's not an apex.
I think he listened to
That's
your brake,
invalid.
turn, accelerate, but in the wrong sequence.
In the wrong sequence, yeah. He went for turn, brake, accelerate, I think, which the rear end didn't like at all, and that Lambo didn't like that apex either.
I can't remember. Is Paul Ricard a bit of a slippy track in that regard, or is?
It's definitely a more cambered track in parts. Can be slippy at times if you've got the car set up wrong. I guarantee you that. I tend to think only there's probably 2 or 3 corners that are fairly slippery overall.
Yeah, although there is something nice about absolutely nailing these set of right-hand corners here. I think I've only ever done it once, ever. But we're not going to see Connor go through there because we've jumped down to Richardson here in P15. Who's
4 tenths up.
Yeah, on a stonking lap, doing well there. 54.5, very nice. Probably faster than I can drive here at the moment, but that's fine.
Yeah, let's see what Connor can do. He's not quite there for the pole lap as of yet. Let's have a look at Bubnow's favourite corner. Now he's getting there. No, now he's not. Oh, he's invalidated
And
again.
invalidated. How often have you invalidated there?
It's very easy to do, and I'm expecting a DM after this race from him saying, I don't like this track. That's what I'm expecting. Kugali, ooh, I like this. This is going to be top 8 material here. Let's have a look at this. Merck, second to last corner, double apex that one. Ooh, half a second up. This is a great lap. An early turn in, hit a bit too much curb, in my opinion. Almost went wide. There's a 10th gone, but still, this is going to be a great lap. Let's see where this puts him. It's almost a 53. Yeah, 8th, in fact. That's a great lap.
Solid lap there. Very nice indeed. Yeah, that last corner can be a little bit sketchy too, because you've got to really be on that point. Make sure you don't hit that inside curb, otherwise it does just sort of flick you out. But Rashudi here, exiting Sector 1, I should have said. I was going to say T1 there, but completely butchered that. But 3 tenths up at the moment, heading down Mistral. I think the Lambo here has got very decent top speed, which is going to help him along his path, even though you can literally, make a cut lunch down this straight, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You can still
We
talk
love
about
cut
the
lunches.
weather and make phone calls. And
I could make a cup of
emails.
tea and drink it before I get to the end of this straight.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I don't drink tea, but that's fine.
Oh, that's fine. We're all different. That was a nice line there from Rashidi. Probably could have touched a bit more of the apex, but all to their own. I'm no expert. Nothing I say means anything, especially in the comms box. Oh, almost invalidated there. Let's have a look at the
My
hairpin. Your favourite, that's right. Yeah, it's not going to be called whatever it's called. It's your favourite now.
It's not
410s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Bubnow's favourite. Down to the second to last double apex corner. Let's see what type of line Rashidi takes. First apex, tucks it in for the second apex. Then hard on the brakes for the final corner, into first gear, touch the curb. Ooh,
That was good
didn't
execution.
quite pull that up,
Not
but
fantastic.
it's done well.
410s?
410s. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. P9.
P9, very nice.
Another lap
4-1.
if he's going to keep going.
Yeah, he'd want to be on song now. This is his do or die moment to see if he can jump up the leaderboards here. But oh, there you go, gained a 10th in first turn. I just don't know where I'm on track at the moment. I have absolutely
One of them.
no idea where I am. It's fine. I'm going to butcher many things across this next hour of racing as well. So strap yourselves in. It's going to be a ride.
We love a good ride here. Down, though, at the moment is Rashidi. I'm hoping he can get that back up.
Oh, Keckers, I will let you know when we see the fastest Pro-Am time, but I'm going to say it's outside the top 13. I'm not sure if there's a Pro-Am sneaked up in the top 3, but definitely a lot of silver drivers up there at the moment, taking those spots that we can't see on the
That's
leaderboard
fine.
just there.
We'll see them. We'll see them when we get into the race, though. Qualifying is over, so drivers on their final lap. I don't think Rashidi's going to do anything. Johnson jumps up top 5. Only just over 100th off Hignett, so that's a great lap. Then a little bit of time there to Maloney. So as we said, usual suspects up the top. Udistira's kept it on pole. Rashidi's decided that his lap's not going to be valid anymore.
Yeah, that left-hander. What is the name of that right-hander?
You're talking about...
At the end of Mistral.
Yeah. Yes, and I...
It's that corner, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to look this up, and I'll know as soon as I see it, and I'll kick myself.
I'm sure someone in chat knows the name, and we're probably going to butcher it regardless. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
has also decided that invalidation is the key to success, and will not be improving on the lap time. And
Oh, Signers. Bloody hell. I knew it was something. I knew it was French, and then that was about it. I thought it had a funnier name, but it's just, Signers.
Yeah, right. Looked like our fastest pro time was, I'm not sure what the time was, but it was down in P19.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad at all. But for those that are playing at home, if you picked a Ferrari for being on pole, and P2 and P3 and P4, then congrats. Followed by 2 McLarens, and then a Lambo, and a Merc, and a Lambo, and then another McLaren.
Just a lot of the same cars we're seeing up the front. Towards the back, it's a bit more mixed, though, which is nice. Usual suspects up the front in their Ferraris. They're all just Ferrari lovers.
It is a solid choice and a solid car, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I am, is still in the Ferrari, technically.
Was, is, coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, maybe.
Well, all of those except that last night we had Big Sads and Noski broke his wheel and no longer can race. So, sad times for myself, but that's okay.
It's good times for me this evening because I managed to accidentally get my way to getting a Rennsport key.
Oh, very nice.
You can thank they sent out a tweet saying, reply to this with your favourite team. First 10 people get a key. And I saw that 4 seconds after it was tweeted.
Oh, very good. So
yeah,
mash it, get your key, and move on.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting you to say be the 11th person because that's just how it works.
Yeah, that'd be my luck. But
yeah.
Anyway, as we scroll
that's
down
a nice
the field,
livery.
which one? The one on the left? The one on
That
the right?
Merc, yes. I know I've said it 100,000 times.
You do
Ooh.
like that. It does tickle your fancy.
But that Bunnings Porsche, jeez. Look at that. Look at that Bunnings Porsche right there. That's, jeez.
You'll love to see it. It's all about the trade.
They just didn't. There's one thing missing is a barbecue. You need the barbecue on there. Oh, that's a nice livery too.
He needs the Bunnings snag on the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Bunnings Snag House is what it's referred to as.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the Bunnings. Actually, I haven't had a Bunnings snag in a long time.
Oh, come on, mate.
Next time I go to Bunnings, that's it. I'm getting a Bunnings snag.
You're getting a Bunnings Snag.
Got to be done.
Oh, drivers dropping down now, 30 seconds. Make sure to hit the drive button, the race director will be saying. The camera's deciding it doesn't want to be at ground level anymore.
Either that or the cameras are green, that bunning snags are just like a must.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yes, the cameras are green. Yep.
Or not agreeing. He is agreeing.
Ooh.
We will not know, but as
We'll
we
never
over
know.
here- yeah, the session is about to tick over. Here we go for a split. McCullough green. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, green,
I
red,
did
yellow,
the-
orange, purple. One of them.
Yeah, we got there in the end. Looks like everyone has managed to hit drive, which is good.
Good. Nice.
From the pits. Now, whether the drivers are aware of this or not, but tonight's race is just 60 minutes, no mandatory stops of any kind. So
Ooh.
you don't need to do a splash and dash. You don't have to get the rubber.
No, that's different to the GT3 Cup settings on Friday. Watch out for that. First round of the final.
Oh, is it a bit of a stop? Is there?
There's 2 stops.
Oi, look out! But yeah, that's what Friday night you said. That's the GT Cup that we got going
GT3
here?
Cup, the lovely Simrigs GT3 Cup, first round of finals here at Circuit de Paul Ricard. You'll see from 8 o'clock the Pro-Am split, and then from 9:30 you will see the Pro split. Cannot wait to see some racing there.
Yeah, the best of the best of. Oh, tackling it out to see who comes out on top of the tables. Always some really good quality driving across the board there. So yeah, if you're not doing much, tune in, support your favourite racer or team or both, and
All of the above.
enjoy the SimMagic GT3 Cup. But tonight, we're not doing that. We're in Sprint Series, and we've got 60 minutes ahead, no mandatories. So hopefully you're aware of maybe managing tyres, have your full fuel load, and get ready for some carnage.
I love my. No, we don't want carnage.
Well, you don't want it, but I mean, it's kind of
Well,
track that breeds carnage.
nah.
Oh, Mad Dog with the strat there. Needs a couple stops to make things interesting. It is possibly that would change up the order. That's probably why they've done that for the GT Cup. But tonight we're trialing something different, just more of an endurance type stint, because normally with our endurance series we do that 70-minute stint window. So pretty much the drivers are doing something of a similar sorts with that regard. But some would be for the pit stop, others would not be for said stop. So
Well, there you go. Some people can be happy and others can just not.
just not. Yeah, just
Yeah, yes,
No.
exactly right. So drivers going double file now as we look to head to the loving start of the race, coming around Bubner's favourite corner.
yeah. Can we just call that Bubnow corner now, just for
Yes, this is Bubner
sake?
corner.
Yeah, Bubnow corner. I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice and bunched up.
You love to see it.
Well, what this McLaren's not going to
Well-
love to see is the asthmatic start that it's going to have. I don't know what's going on here.
I was concerned that I was seeing something completely different to what you may have, but clearly I am not. Some Ferraris want to merge with some McLarens, but as we pull onto the main straight here, they are sitting at double file and 80 k's an hour. The back of the pack will have to bunch up, but looks like we might be going green before. Oh no, the gaps have closed up. Looking good. Doing that double lane here as we wait for the green light to drop, and we are green. Looks like all the Ferraris took off at the exact same point there, but looks like, is that behind in the no?
What is Maloney doing? Oh dear.
He's just sticking the nose probably where it doesn't. Oh, he gets a little bit of a tag there from. Oh, there's more contact, and there's
Ooh.
that is unfortunate, but so far so good. Are we playing on it? Looks like we're playing on decent rejoin. That could have gone so. No,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I saw yellow flags and I was like, hang on.
I was too busy watching rejoins and not aware of the safety
That's
car
valid.
being called. But a little bit too much argy-bargies there, and we're going to calm the field and let everyone get back into their groove. And I dare say at the end of this little, I guess you can call it another formation lap or safety car lap, we'll get back under green racing. But turn one, as we see there in chat, Craig Dale, yes, it does sort of breed a death into turn one. And oh, there's been a bit of contact there under safety car.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Race director, can we get your opinion, please?
but yeah, no real sort of punishing there. Didn't see anyone get too caught up with damage or inside the incident, so hopefully enough will be that everyone can play on without needing to serve a pit for tyres or repair damage and all that kind of scenario. So hopefully, obviously the stewards will get into reviewing at some stage, but they have got all the tools at their disposal to show us how to best serve everyone's penalties, if there are any to be done.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some penalties pop up. So it is, of course, a virtual safety car. You cannot pit under the virtual safety car. Not that it matters because they don't need to pit anyway. And I suspect they'll just let the drivers bunch up and we'll be back underway at the end of this lap. 26 ambient, 33 on track. It's a bit hotter in the ambient tracks, not too bad. So drivers shouldn't have too many problems with their tyres.
Yeah, not too bad. Just having a bit of a scroll down the leaderboard there. And unfortunately, I mean, the big loss out for the turn 1, turn 2 incidents here is Connor Hind has dropped down to 9th. So with that little bit of contact with Maloney and that little bit of door bang and that, he definitely was the one that came off second best or 9th best at this stage as we get a replay.
Yeah, let's have a look. It's this is at the back. This is what caused the safety car. I'm suspecting I'm smelling 3 wide dead.
Oh,
yeah, dead. Even before turn 1, dead. Very dead. Oh, extremely. Yes.
There is bloodlines that have been deleted.
Yes. And the police have been called.
Yeah, I believe
to that murder.
Yeah, there has been a murder.
Someone needs to get the coroner.
I believe it's that orange Lambo that dies.
Ooh, it's I think that... I don't really want to say too much. I reckon that M4 was doing something a little dangerous, making it 3 wide, but we'll let the stewards decide if I'm talking absolute garbage or not.
Well, all I can say is that I'm glad that I was in the stewards box last
race
and not this one. So this one I can just,
that's right.
sit here on my little commentator's perch and not have to worry about it. So enjoy that split green.
Here we go.
Stewards back under green racing. It seems the leader has launched. Oh no,
it hasn't launched.
It looked like
it definitely will have launched now. Yeah, we're going. Giacomin didn't really catch on to that, and neither did Higner. You just steer us away. Great start there, down to turn 1. Single file this time, hopefully less incidents. Hignet later on the brakes there. You just steer getting a good run through turn 1, 2. Of course, one thing to look out for will be track limits over the 60 minutes. You might see a couple of drive-throughs to track limits. Luke Johnson's got Vintina, sorry. I'll get there eventually. Vinatina, I know. I saw the eye in the wrong spot. Vintina just behind in the Lambo. Maloney's going to try and catch in onto that one. Rashidi wants a piece, so does Kugali. I'm smelling a slipstream train here pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is definitely going to show. Unfortunately, the Ferraris here do not have that good a top end compared to some of these guys in the slipstream. So, that we don't have the DRS train as we were discussing in the stewards box last time, as we had just a sea of cars, but they do have the train of slipstream for our lovely thing. As we see on board now with Connor, who's sitting back in the pen. Oh,
I mean, I knew the Merc wasn't good on the straight, but that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't think that was. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Could be interesting. Maybe just accidentally flicked the pedal. Hopefully it was, and not like a form of a brake check or anything. But 3 wide as they go through the right-hander there. Almost gets collided by Maloney. I thought he lost the position there, but at the moment they're still holding station in P6. Luke Johnson P4, Vintner in P5, definitely all over the back of that McLaren. Looking very racy very early on after the green flag restart. Well, but at the moment, this is allowing the front 3 in the Ferraris to just sort of step away.
Yeah, this is, excuse me, this is definitely what the drivers want. You just steer here, though. Not having the greatest of run towards the end of... Oh, dear. There's a McLaren round. Who dat? It's Jovan Lee.
Jovan Lee, I believe, unfortunately. Yep, as we see Jovan Lee plummet down the leaderboard there, unfortunately. I dare say that was assisted. But on board with Maloney again in that McLaren. Second fastest McLaren on track at the moment, according to positions, because Johnson's just 2 up the field on him. But looking very pacey as always. That gingerbread man team racing for Kovacs. wants to try and get a really good exit here to get onto the Mistral, into the slipstream of the McLaren, I was going to say, but it's a Lamborghini. He's in the McLaren. But Ricciuti here is also
Tomato,
trying to do
tomato.
the same thing, but in reverse. But Connor looked like he got an absolute blistering exit there onto the back of Ricciuti here. He's going to go left or right?
Left. Yeah, smart move, I reckon, because if he can just... He might back out a little early and try and force Ricciuti a bit wide on the exit. I'd be interested to see how he plays this one. Or maybe Ricciuti's going to back out. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Just unfortunately, he wasn't quite side-by-side enough to actually have full rights to the corner. So that's a safe move there from Ricciuti. Just let him go.
Yeah, I think that was... what is it? Discretion's the better part of valor or something, if that's the saying. I may have actually butchered that saying too, but...
All one of them.
Look, there's 53 minutes of the race remaining, so there's very smart decision there to back out where it could have ended in tears. Long race to go, so yeah, I think that's definitely the way he took that into account. But Giacomin here has definitely not let our race leader step away from him at the moment. Still that half a second gap, even across the entire lap. They still haven't really changed much. So, I lie. I've been made a liar. He's now 7/10 rather than half a second. But
Yeah, it's okay.
it looks like they've dropped Ben Hignan a little bit with the pace they're doing. But this battle pack for P4 is definitely spicing up, and Connor's back well and truly in the mix, right behind Tom again. So, are we going to see these two have fisticuffs once again?
Well, only time will tell.
I
Well, yeah, we hope not, but we'll just have to wait and see. Down towards turn 8 and 9 onto the straight. See some more slipstreaming. I think the Lambo's going to suffer a bit here. It can only hit, I reckon, 281, I believe, is the limit on most setups I've seen. And I know the Ferrari can do more than that, and so can the McLaren. Ferrari, you're hitting probably 285, depending on the setup you're using, what's open, what's closed. Slipstream for Connor, get close. Yep, McLaren. Yeah, look how slow that Lambo is even compared to the Ferrari. I know it had the double slipstream, but my goodness.
It is standing still.
Yeah,
Well,
he's going to go the inside. He's got to be very careful. Yeah, that's good. That's going to be a warning for Connor, but he has to take it so he doesn't kill Vintiner. And very Ricciuti, yes. And Ricciuti might get this one too, if he can just pull the exit up, and does. So Vintiner, 3 positions within 2 corners. Oh, dear.
Yeah, got compromised on the entrance, lost the speed, got stuck on the outside, compromise, and more compromise, and 3 positions down. Unfortunate internet, but remember, long race to go. We'll see how it plays out a bit later on. But these front pack are just absolutely showing a masterclass of driving. Like, you just see that gap, they make sure it's out. Oh, Connor gets right up behind the back of Maloney there, almost has a bit of a tap, but then Ricciuti almost does the same thing to Connor here. So these 3, nose to tail, and once again, Ricciuti trying to dive a turn 1.
I think he'll have this, maybe. He sticks it there. No. Oh, that's going to be a warning. That was just not side-by-side enough, but he still want to try and keep the competition there. Now Vintina's going to have a go on the outside of Ricciuti, turning into the inside. Let's see how this one plays out. Kugali's just going to have to let this one play out. Maybe try and get a position or 2 if there's an incident. Vintina keeps it wide. Kugali's going to go for a switchback. No, sticks outside. That was interesting. I would have gone to switchback potential move there. Onto the straight now. Lambos are going to be slipstreaming each other because they're not going to catch that Ferrari.
And watch the Merc. Is the Merc going to have an incredible top speed compared to these?
No.
No? Oh, wait.
Maybe in the slipstream, but I don't think so.
Sorry, I got to... Was it... The Merc was not ideal here from memory in terms of top speed? But I can't remember. Oh, it looks like Vintner's got a bit of a nice toe there.
Slipstream will help, yeah.
We're deciding to go on the inside. Ricciuti gives him a little bit of... or more than enough room on the inside. Compromised line there, so Vintner would definitely get the inside again for this double right-hander and probably get the overtake nice and easily done there, as he has proven so.
Ooh, a bit wide there for Ricciuti. I'm smelling a lot of drivers on track limit warnings here.
What gives that away, Hobbsy?
Don't know.
The fact they're not in between the white lines, perhaps, on most corners?
Maybe.
But either way, very beautiful overtake there by Vintner, compromising Ricciuti, going incredibly wide there. He was very nice to give him so much track. Did not need to give him that much, but well, that's a wide exit too there by Vintner, which has allowed Ricciuti to get that better exit and tack on the back again. But I don't think he's going to be close enough for a turn 1 overtake. But we're still going to see the defensive line here by Vintner. Ricciuti not close enough. Backs out of it, gets right up on the bumper again, but he'll be trying to set up for probably getting that nice toe onto the back straight, I would dare say.
Yeah, absolutely. Down through Sector 1 they go. Nice train of cars there. Giacomin still keeping on the back of Udistira, but Hignet's dropping a long way back. Johnson's dropped a bit back too. Maloney's on the back of him. Hine needs to do something here with those McLarens. Should have a touch of slipstream if he can keep it close onto the straight. Ricciuti, I reckon, is going to give this one another go. Kugali, I'll get my English out eventually. He's not going to have a lot to do here, unfortunately.
It is a tough language, don't worry. I'm sure we've got 47 minutes of more butchering to come of it, and it's going to be fine. We'll work through the pain, Hobbsy. We'll get there. But yeah, Ricciuti does have that nice toe now. You can see that gap is closing. Probably not as rapid as he would like, but Victor could be running a bit less wing potentially. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, I doubt many of these drivers are sharing setups. That's going to be... Oh, I think he's just kept that within track limits. Yeah, that's probably the limit of the limit there. And Vinton's gone wide. Ricciuti's going to stick it up. That was a good play. He saw that one coming. Vinton's going to have the inside. What can he do? Ricciuti, nothing. Oh, he's even closed the outside off a little bit there. Wasn't expecting that. Now Kugali's getting involved. Gives Ricciuti a quick kiss. That was a bit kind. Take him out for dinner first, I would. Down to the final double apex corner, or as we like to call it, the second to last corner. Now to the final. Kugali needs to try and nail the exit here, and did, but the Lambo said, no, I've got this one, sunshine. Yes, Lambo. That's just how it is.
It's just fantastic under like low speed acceleration in the Lambo. So, oh, as we see a car exiting the pits. Not sure who that was.
They might have some damage, maybe, if they're having to pit like that. You can see Kugali just sneaking in and out of the rear television screen. I said television screen monitor, using of the rear mirror. That one, rear vision mirror. I'll get
done.
English eventually. Thank you. Coming up to turn 8 now. Oh my! That was late on the brakes. That had me clenched.
That was what we call in the business a brown flag. But Vintner has a very wide compromised line there, which is going to cut his top speed here. Ricciuti got a beautiful line there through onto the Mistral straight here, so that could be within a bit of a shout there. 4/10. I think what the slipstream sort of works out about the 6/10 mark onto the straight. You get a nice little toe.
Yeah, usually I think the general sort of, as long as you're within 8/10, you'll get some slipstream.
Yeah, copy that. So you're still not quite close enough. That Vintner's Lambo must have absolutely no wing attached to it too.
It must. Oh, again, track limits. I swear all I'm going to talk about is track limits this race.
Stefano, stop making my heart skip a beat.
I know. He needs to stop. Exit double right-hander, though. What can Hine do here? He's got Maloney and Johnson head. He's been slowly catching them. He was 1.7 behind, so now how is he only a 10th behind? What's happened there?
Well, I think Johnson was about 8/10 behind. In front of Malone. Oh, Malone has a nice cross up and saves it somehow. But yeah, Tom has definitely closed up right onto the rear bumper of Johnson here. He's looking very speedy at the moment. I dare say he's got all his tyres and pressures in the right windows and that. And he's just trying to live rent-free in the rear vision mirror. That's what they called Hobbsy of Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But he gets a nice line through turn 1, 2. Oh, bit crossed up on the exit of 2. That's going to cost him a 10th or so and a bit of speed, which he probably wasn't ideally looking for because he wants to be a bit closer coming into this next little section of corners. Beautiful racing, though, I have to say. These guys are absolutely masterclassing this for us here.
Ooh, absolutely. Doing really well. Onto the straight once again. Let's see what can be done. Udistira still holding that 6/10 gap to Giacomin, who has fastest up of the race. They've got a 5-second gap to Hignett, so... Well, Hignet's just in his own little world. So is Johnson's gap to him, but Johnson's got Maloney behind. Slipstream here. I reckon Maloney's going to have to go outside here.
You go inside.
Ooh. That's
He
an
wants to
interesting
have that-
call because I've got a feeling Johnson's not going to give him much room. Let's have a look.
Doesn't need much. Looks like your job was
Ooh, he
already
didn't
done
give him
for the
much,
corner.
but Connor's cut that corner again. I'm smelling he's got at least 2 track limit warnings and is actually going to get past Johnson in the process. So let's have a look at the exit now. Nicely done. Johnson's going to be less than impressed with that one.
He will be. We're seeing a lot of that happening with these little battle groups. Seeing that one driver goes for that overtake into that fast right-hander and just gets put onto that little bit of a compromised exit, and it just opens the door for a car that's within that half a second bracket behind them to even take that little sneaky opportunity to get that double overtake, so to speak, happening. That was a little bit close for my liking. Whew.
Yeah, that was very close to
I think
someone being
John's
around.
on point here. That kind of would have to be on 3 warnings by now.
Oh, absolutely. Minimum 2, got to be 3, I think. So I'm sensing a drive-through for him if he's not careful. He's going to have to play it safe, reduce the lap times a bit, or increase lap times, however you want to put it, and just try and keep it out of the drive-through. You just steer it, as Mia Rose saying, fastest lap goes to him. Not sure. There you go. 54.1 now, so that's a nice lap.
That was actually the last lap as well.
Ooh, exciting stuff.
Which will, obviously, the lap times will drop as the fuel burn kicks off, but then we'll get to a plateau point when the tyres just say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. But Connor here
That's
is on
not
a bit
too
of
far away.
Yeah, it's probably not too far, exactly. Probably about another 15 minutes. And the tyres are going to start screaming. But Connor here was P9 on the safety car restart, back up to 5th, tacking on the back here of Maloney. These two have been pretty much nose to tail since turn 1 of lap 1. As we start to see our first penalty come through for car 14 on lap 2.
Who dat?
Barker, unfortunately for him.
That's not ideal. 15-second, not good. So he's fighting with Kugal. He's got 3 seconds to Hingston, but that ain't going to matter with a 15-second penalty.
No, but I think still a lot of racing to go. I've said that a fair few times tonight, but if we've seen anything like what Connor's been doing, I think you're about to see a sea of red with the lovely DT next to it from a few drivers over the next sort of probably 15-20 minutes of those track limits getting absolutely pushed.
I'd give it probably 5 minutes and you might see one, to be honest, at the rate these drivers are going. Hind now onto the front straight, just going with finish line 54. He's just gone fastest for him, 54.8. So a little bit of work there to do for him if he wants to try and get past Maloney, because I suspect he's going to turn that McLaren into a brick wall.
Yeah, he's very good at making that McLaren extremely wide. So that brick wall is probably automatically engaged as we speak, considering Hind's only a couple tenths behind, but had a better line through there. Hind did. Let's see what his entry is like through this one. Both not bad. I think Maloney may have got the better one there, but Hind a bit tighter through that section, right up on the bumper of Maloney. I think we might be sniffing a bit of an overtake here. Let's see if Maloney tries to go to the extreme inside or outside of the track once the Ferrari gets up to speed, if it can.
It sure will. It's not even 6th gear. This is when you'll see the Ferrari come into its own in terms of slipstream. He's going to go inside. I reckon he's going to get this done pretty quickly. I reckon Maloney might play it smart and back out here. Yeah. And he did, just a tad. I think he backed out hoping for maybe a switchback opportunity, but that didn't arise for him. So now Hind up into 4th, but track limit warnings under drift at the same time. That's not what you want to see.
No, I think Hind's definitely pushing right on the boundaries of his absolute skill limits here, but that was very nicely done. Very smart move there, I think, by both drivers. I mean, you can see Tom wasn't really going to try and fight it. He just stayed to the extreme left-hand side of the track there, allowing Connor much space, older space, to making that inside overtake there. So, yeah, hats off to both drivers doing that nice and safely as we carry on here. But Tom's trying to stay right on that rear bumper to make sure that Connor does not take off into the distance.
Well, do you do that? There's 2 ways to play it. You get close. Well, there's 2 strategic ways to play this. You get nice and close like he is now, force a mistake out of Connor if he's on 3 warnings, drive through for him. Or do you hold back in the hope that he pushes a bit harder and gets a track limit? That's the question.
I think Tom just stuffed up turn 1.
Well.
So I think the strategy now is he needs to refocus and tack on to the back again. Because Johnson has decided he now wants a piece of Maloney. And we move on. But yeah, kind of looking very speedy at the moment, regardless. Still not running with the same pace as the front runners.
There's a DT. I told you, 5 minutes.
Bang. Well done. Unlucky for car 32.
Yeah, Wayan's not going to be particularly happy about that. I mean, 38 minutes, though. If you're getting a drive-through, you want to be doing it now rather than later in the race, I'd reckon.
And if you get one in 20 minutes, that means there's still a percentage of a chance of getting 2 more within the time frame as well. So you might need to calm down, slow your roll a little bit, maybe get out of that red mist if you're having a bit of a rough drive, and just try and keep it within the white limits there, and move forward. Because yeah, DT's here. I'm not sure what the actual transverse time of the pit lane is here, Hobbs, but it's
I'll find out for you.
definitely not something that you would want to do on a fairly regular basis, put it that way.
Let's have a look. Paul Ricard, drive-through time loss is 28 seconds.
Yeah, so I dare say you would not want to be serving too many of those in a 1 hour race.
Oh, no.
But yeah, Connor here will be now trying to catch up to his good friend, Mr. Ben Hignett. But Hignett, what's got a 2-second gap over him at the moment. That's not bad.
Yeah, kind. Oh,
Kind. You are doing fantastic tonight, my friend.
I went to say Connor Hind, and then I put them both together. I mean, he can't really push. That's his problem. If he's got those track limits, he's probably just in way and get a drive-through for track limits. It's probably very much in fear that he might get one himself, so he might need to back off a bit and just keep those limits as tight as possible coming onto the straight now. At least he's not going to give Maloney any slipstream, but Maloney's going to give Johnson a tad of slipstream. Vintner might get a tad of it as well, and Rashuti might even get in on this. So there's 4 cars here that could potentially give each other slipstream if they're not careful.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, just looking at the pace difference, because Giacomin is actually just taking the lead, by the way.
Right.
He has got an overtake, but I was just looking at the gap between the front runners and Hignett, and the fact that it has now dropped to like 7 seconds. I'm wondering how many warnings Hignett is on as well, because he was quite pacey early on with the front runners, but now it's just sort of dropped off.
Yeah, maybe it could be the tyre drop off as well, depending on the setup that he's got. You just steer a dropping P1 there. That's a big loss for him. Maybe there was a bit of an incident. I know Giacomin was always on the back, but I didn't really see it getting close that quickly, unless maybe the slipstreams just made the car unbelievably fast on the straight.
I'm not sure, because the last gap I saw they were about 8/10 apart. But
yeah, so maybe a mistake then.
Yeah, I dare say maybe a compromised entrance onto the straight could have possibly been what it caused, because yeah, 8/10 gap closed very quickly, and then he was already ahead into the Sector 3 timing zone. So the race lead has switched. Luca has decided, I want the fresh air, so I'm just going to overtake you. Thank you very much for coming, but it still has got the fastest lap yet.
Well, slipstream for you to steer, though, could be the game changer here. We just keep an eye out. Nice run through Sector 1 for both drivers. Let's have a look at the approach. A tad deep there, I thought, for Giacomin, but he's pulled it up nicely. Nice use of the curb there from you to steer. Let's have a look at the straight line speed both drivers get here. I'd be expecting probably mid 280s, mid to low 280s, depending on how much fuel they've got. Slipstream definitely help you to steer here, and this will give us an idea who's running more wing. And that answer would be probably they're running the same wing.
Yeah, I was going to say about the same amount of wing. Yeah, 281, 282, 283, 284.
4 on race. So I reckon, okay.
Slide.
I reckon Giacomin needs a new pair of underpants after that one. I reckon Giacomin might actually be running maybe slightly less wing than Udistira. Because I reckon if they were running the same amount of wing, Udistira probably would have caught a tad bit more than I was seeing with my own eyes. As you see, there's just a blue flag there. That car will need to jump out of the way fairly promptly, I would hope, since these two are fighting for the lead. No real changes on track, except it's down to 32 degrees now. Not that that'll affect the drivers in any way. I'll be getting out of the way. There we go. Ooh.
Interesting choice, but has done well regardless.
Yeah, nicely done there. So the driver's jumping out of the way.
Yeah, I think you might be right. There may have been a mistake in Sector 1 for Udistira to allow Giacomo to close up and overtake into Sector 2. But I think... Oh, there's goodbye sign. I saw that flip.
Yeah, I don't know where that's going.
It's just deciding to join the crowd, I think. Although it's got a fair few more red and blue lines to cross before it gets that close, but that's nonetheless. But I think, in my eyes, Giacomo got a better entry onto the straight. It looks like Udistira is a bit stronger under brakes into like a couple corners, like that turn, what is it, 3-4 section. He looks like he closes the gap up quite substantially there, but Giacomo just seems to have the legs here on the entry and exit onto the straight that just doesn't allow Udistira to actually close in that gap. But 8/10 are separating them at the moment. It could just be that maybe the Giacomo had a lot of pressure on Udistira as well, forcing a little bit more mistakes. You may have fried his tyres slightly. Could be going through that rough patch. We all know what that feels like. And it's horrible.
It is. It's not nice at all. Let's have a look. So this is Giacomo with Udistira. Oh, Udistira did lose it. Yep, straight through Giacomo. Udistira. Oh, yeah, pushed him out wide. That was Rubbins racing there. Not a lot that could have been done. And then too deep. Compromised, as he said, Bub now to the straight, and Giacomo would have absolutely eaten this up for breakfast.
Yeah, when you're that close, you just know the overtake's going to happen. But he's actually doing a real sort of defensive line there, which is pretty.
And then shifts to 6th gear. yeah,
everyone saw the gear shift. Yep.
yeah, so I think Giacomo is running that slightly bit lower wing, only a click, I dare say, and then Udistira, I think, just backed out. Oh yeah. Ooh.
Massive slide there. He's kept his boot. That's a. I don't know about you, Hobbsy, but I dare say that is a warning.
You're thinking the same thing. That is a warning, but I'm also thinking, is that a legal overtake?
Oh, not.
That's just me.
Sure, but I'm not. I don't have all the camera angles.
I'm not a steward.
To, take a guess at that one. But Udistira here looks like it is dropping off the back of Giacomo. Ever so slowly, dropped another couple tenths there that lap. So I'm sure that if the drivers feel like something like that was compromised in some way, shape or form, they would have just called out their number and the stewards will take care of it. So I'm glad I'm not the one reviewing this stuff. As we see,
Heinz pass Hignett.
Yes. What has happened there? That was like a 2-second gap.
No, it was 7/10 when I last checked, so we're getting close.
Oh, well then maybe another compromise through Sector 1, or maybe just not quite on the ball at the moment, but we might be able to get a replay of that at some stage once the hamsters fire up the wheels again.
Absolutely. So you just do 1 second off Giacomo now. Hines got pretty much 8 seconds. I don't think he's going to catch that in 30 minutes unless he keeps his tyres in check and keeps his warnings in check as well. Speaking of warnings, that might be one. And that could be a drive-through if he's not careful. Righto. Hignett now. I think he just needs to settle into this bubble. Keep that top 4 position because he's got 4 cars behind there that you can see like all battling. Someone took the inside. I wouldn't have really been surprised if there's an incident there. And on the straight. That looks like a compromised exit for Hignett there. That was really quick from Hind. Yeah, and I reckon Hignett backed out and had probably just a quick lift just to make sure there was no incident occurring there, and back on track they come.
Yeah, nicely done, Connor. Beautiful overtake. But yeah, speaking of that little battle pack, they are literally nose to tail. There's not much free space or real estate or air or track between nose to tail through those couple cars. But yeah, I think you're right. Ben's just got to sit in that little bubble of his now and basically go into hot lap mode. And yeah, just hope maybe if he wants to curse the drivers ahead that they get the DTs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only driver ahead that would be close to a drive-through that's ahead of Hignett would be Hind. I don't know what the other drivers are like. Here are some drivers that I reckon having seen them throughout this race so far, might be on a couple of warnings. Johnson here is going to have a really good line. The Lambos here are going to have double and triple slipstream if you're a shooty. Is that going to help? Yes. Is it going to be enough? Don't know. That was a great run there from Maloney, though.
It was. Maloney got a real good exit there, and so did Vintner. It looks like he had a real good entry onto the straight there, but as we can see, the Lambo trying to... It looks like it's rubber banding on my screen. But that's fine. It's what happens. Rashidi just... I don't think Rashidi's running the same amount of wing. Because it just doesn't seem to close the gap in, even in the slipstream.
I think he's actually playing it quite smart in doing that if he is running... Oh! If he's almost running into a track limit warning. I think that's actually quite a smart play from Rashidi if he's actually running higher wing than the others, because if it's only going to compromise him maybe a K or two on the straight, it might get him an extra 2 or 3 tenths in the other sectors where he's got that extra turn in, that extra stability that Vinton has just decided he doesn't have anymore.
Yeah, that's called his exiting stage right. Lambo Tings. I've had that happen to me a few times, but that's just getting a bit too squirmy under power, I believe. But Rashidi would have said thank you very much. I'm going to take that P7 and move on with my day. Thank you, sir. As we have that little switch around, but up the front, still the status quo. Giacomin has actually pulled a massive gap on Udistira now. We're up to 2 seconds. So I dare say that Udistira might be a bit compromised with tyre wear or something along those lines, or maybe had another oops. But at the moment, Luca is just absolutely on point with his speed and is pulling away. Yeah,
absolutely no other word for it. Absolutely flying now is Giacomin. Still doesn't have fastest lap, but you're probably not going to expect to see a fastest lap. Now Hines closed 8 tenths in the last 3 laps. That's not going to be enough, I reckon, to get close to Udistira by the end of the race. Hignet's dropped 2 seconds. Maloney's almost 3. Johnson's still trying to do something here, but Maloney's absolutely thrashing these guys on the exit to the straight.
Okay, the zero wing strategy, McLaren. Let's go. No, I actually don't.
Yeah. It probably 0 or 1 wing, I think they would be running.
Yeah, probably more than likely.
Probably 1.
Most cars would be doing the exact same thing. But yeah, Maloney's McLaren does look incredibly pacey down the straight. As they all go a little bit wide.
As they're all just wide. Oh, Johnson tries to pull back in. Almost kills Rashidi in the process. They all don't want that track limit warning.
As I say, the screen kind of glitched out on me a little bit there, but it did possibly look like Tom may have got a warning there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
Although what's happening here is if Johnson's sort of living in his mirrors a little bit, seeing that lovely Lamborghini of Rashidi's, it's going to allow Tom just that little bit of breathing space, which you can start to see unfold on the track now as he goes incredibly wide there on entry. But
yes.
Yeah, he'd be wanting to utilise this to his utmost advantage, and that gap to Hignet might be actually slowly closing if he can get this rhythm going again. But 25 minutes remaining, we'll see how it all unfolds, or no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Down to turn 1. Vintiner March later on the brakes, but it's going to be slower mid-corner, and was. Johnson really needs to pull a finger or two out here if he wants any sort of chance of trying to catch up to the slipstream of Maloney on that straight. He's not currently succeeding with that quite as much as I dare say he'd like to be. Maloney's just really consistent now. He lacked a little bit at the start, but really starting to pull something out now.
Yeah, it's starting to look very planted in my eyes, but then again, I'm no expert. It's just a McLaren thing, because every time I've seen that car go on an exit of a corner, it just sort of plants and disappears from my field of view. But Rashidi looks like he might be a little bit closer here to Johnson, but let's see what the speed difference is. McLaren v Lamborghini. In the tow, Lambo looks like it's trying. It's definitely trying. But
yes, it almost. Hang on.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
Oh, hang on. On the exit, maybe.
No.
I reckon Rashidi will. Yes, maybe. Yeah. Hang on.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that's nice. Yep. But Johnson's going to have absolutely none of this. Can he stick the inside? No, he's going to have to give that one up. Oh, don't do this.
No,
he's done it anyway. Oh, yeah. Ooh. I'd be on the loudspeaker about that one. Yeah.
There might
Nothing huge, but just an optimistic one. It's actually lost Ricciardi out to Vintner as well.
Yeah,
So I'd be on the blower about that one. Oh, and yeah,
no.
Barker's gonna be Oh dear. I don't have any words.
Unfortunate events has taken place for Ricciardi. Unlucky. It was good to watch though, but yeah, I think there was a little bit going on there, and a little bit of red mist possibly took place for a few drivers there, and a little bit too much opportunistics taking that, the whole see a gap must go for kind of mentality. But the stewards will be definitely involved in that, probably for most of the that sequence, right from that right-hander from the initial, as there's a car just off track there, saying hello to the drivers as it goes past. Not sure what's going on there, but this will allow a little bit of breathing space for Johnson and Vintner as well, knowing that has taken place, because I dare say Barker will be copying an additional slap across the wrist for some driving there. But carry on, and the boys are off from racing once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it as clean as they can. Sean Schilling. Oh dear. On
lap 1. So that
that
be what caused the safety car.
M4 incident. That's there's been a lot of hard thought gone into that one.
Yeah, I dare say if they've taken close to 40 minutes to review that one, and there's been lots of discussion, and that's a big paddling.
Yeah, that's if that's the incident we saw, I think that's probably warranted.
Yeah, I dare say so. But back on to the current times rather than what happened 40 minutes ago.
No.
These guys just don't want to let each other disappear, do they? They just want to stay right up in each other's grills.
There's a lot of... I don't know how to put this in the nicest way possible.
Just try, because, we've butchered it enough tonight, so, what's the worst that can happen?
There's a lot of consistent inconsistency.
Yes.
Because 1 minute Johnson's there, next minute he's not, and Vinton is on him, or Ricciardi. It's just a lot.
It is a lot, but that could also come down to...
Oh my! That also could come down to needing to take each other out for dinner first before doing something like that. Goodness me.
As we see 10-second penalty come through again for another lap 1 incident. So yeah, Stewart's box definitely busy if they're still addressing lap 1 stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it could just... Oh my god, I thought something...
Wow, Richardson having absolutely none of that.
Yeah, going back with your consistency of inconsistencies, I think that could be put down to that the top of the field, or not the top of the field, but just in that little battle pack we were discussing, the fact that they are such on the limits of what they can and can't do in terms of pushing or their pace, and that just that that little inconsistencies could just be like those tiny mistakes like that, poor entry or a poor exit, or the compromise line. I think that's just where the inconsistencies come, but they are definitely all pushing their absolute limits for sure.
Yeah, no real doubt there. Onto the straight now. More. Oh, here we go. Not lap 1 penalty. Scarman's copped a 10-second penalty for a collision on lap 9. That is not ideal at all.
I don't think anyone really wants to get penalties in racing, but just at the moment we've got Giacomin leading the pro class. Our silver leader is Johnson. Our pro-am leader is Danny, and our amateur leader is it Staria? Satera? Yeah, I've butchered that, but
Satria.
Let's go with that, because I've clearly stuffed a lot of other things. But those are your leaders for class at the moment, with just under 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah, plenty of time for changes to be made in the class leaders. Greco here, fighting for the AM class lead, in fact. Let's have a look at the exit of the final corner. Interesting. I would have gone for a later apex there, but that's okay. No judging. Your line is your line. Gonna get the slipstream though, which is exactly what he wants on the straight. Let's see what can be done down into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the beamers are like here. I'm assuming very good. I've never really driven it.
Haven't driven it, so I can't tell you.
We'll just go with that as yes. because then
Yeah, yes works. Yeah.
yes works. I'm sure someone in chat can confirm whether the BMW at Paul Ricard is decent. I think Mia won in her Beamer. She is in a Beamer. Yes, no, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So it must be good then, because it's a race-winning car. Let's go with that information, because we're very official and statistic and factual here.
Yeah, we speak only facts.
Only facts, not only fans, only facts.
Only facts. That's right.
So McLaren versus Beamer in a slipstream. Hard to say with this camera angle, but I'd say they're fairly evenly matched, to be honest.
Yeah, I dare say that they are indeed matched. Down Cygnus now. Down into the double right-hander they go. What can Richardson do here? I'm not too sure as of yet. Yeah, stick the nose is definitely one thing.
Bit of all cross there as another penalty comes in for Brian Go. Another 10 seconds for lap 2 incident, and we saw that's a change for the lead. It looks like Richardson did get that job done, I believe.
No.
No, I am wrong.
Well, maybe you're right. I can't tell.
Either way, this is P1, 2, and 3 in the amateur class. They are very much, literally.
That's most important. It is the P1, 2, 3. Yeah, Richardson's still there. Greco though, it's going to have a chance on Richardson. Satria needs to start running away now. Not next lap. Now.
Okay, well, Mia just shows that not everyone needs no wing. She won on max wing. So, thoughts?
Right. Sure. Whatever tickles your fancy.
Well, I'd probably need max wing because I'm not good at the driving thing, but that's me. Obviously, there are much better, far better, etc. drivers inside OR, as Vintner here is all over the back of Maloney. So Maloney might be in that little nasty phase of tyres do not want to compute with inputs. And
281 down the straight, 230 through the corner following.
Jesus.
That's a nice speed through the corner following, but 281 down the straight, that's a gamble. One hell of a substance. You don't say.
Yeah, setting up an entire setup for a one corner hopeful.
No.
That would be my tyre strategy, because I don't know setups, and my
Just
brain don't work that good.
do
so
some clicking and then it drives.
Exactly. Random clicking or load some presetting from someone that I DM going, do you have setup? I need to drive fast.
Yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Message someone, hey, have you got this? Yeah, sure, here you go. Or aggressive setup, click some things, go. There you go. Although we're still going here, 15 minutes left though. Oh, that almost would be a track limit warning.
Would you say that these guys would all be very close to one more and then they get the paddling?
I reckon Maloney's probably close to paddling. Vintner, I reckon, might be doing okay. I reckon about 2 warnings. Have a look at the straight. Vintner's about to... bad exit for Maloney, but I really don't think that's going to affect it compared to the Lambo. Although saying that, yeah. Close enough now, but as soon as it pulls out, it's going to need the side draft to do something.
Hobbsy, can you confirm the statement that John has just put in the chat?
If I was race director, everyone would have DTs. No. Everyone wouldn't have DTs. Yeah, there you go. There's Maloney proving my point. Everyone would just hear disappointed me with track limits. I mean, there's only been one drive-through for them so far. Oh, Maloney on 0 warnings.
What?
Wow.
Okay, so maybe you need to get some then.
Yeah, get some. Yeah.
Join the rest of the field with your.
That's an interesting line from both Maloney and Vincent. Basically polar opposite lines there.
Well, I mean, it seems to work for Tom. So I mean, I think there are. Oh, wait, I don't think there's a dedicated. This is the line from any particular. Jesus. That is definitely not the line for the last
No, that's not the line that Vinton has taken there, but he's gone for.
That is definitely going to open up the... he's gone defensive because Barker is only a 10th behind. So that's going to be interesting coming forward. But Barker is also still carrying a penalty. As you see, was that a bit of a slide through turn 1?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Connor on 1 warning. Wait, what?
What?
How? I don't...
The amount of times that he's cut that track, I swear.
Maybe the first time he cut the track, it was at like 400 mile an hour, and then every other
Yeah.
time it doesn't count.
It doesn't count, that's exactly right. 13 minutes left here. David Barker, not a lot he can do. He's got Johnson right on his behind, and he's got to bring that in the limits, David. 15-second penalty for him, and probably more on the way after that hit with Rashuti that they haven't possibly given a penalty for just as of yet. So still more to come, I dare say. Vintner has the slipstream, but then the McLaren will probably not care. I don't know why. What on earth? I'd go for the switchback. That's good. Yes. Stick the nose in. That's exactly that's a really good strategy he's pulled out there. Let's see if he can hold it. Even Barker's going to have a sneak in on this one.
Sneaky.
Now Johnson's going to get a look in on this one. My goodness.
Yeah, we've seen that happen quite a few times throughout the night too. That actually Johnson has decided I'm going to stick my nose up. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of a contact there, but Rubbing's racing. I mean, Tom might not think that at the moment. Maybe with Johnson there, but carry on. They have managed to both keep on the black stuff and moving in the right direction. So play on, good sir. But yeah. How many times has that been tonight? Well, at least 4 or 5 we've seen in overtakes of a car through that right-hander.
Too many times.
Yeah, just being compromised to the point where the other car that's like half a second or so behind just takes the opportunity as well. But yeah, just over 10 minutes remaining here, or 11 minutes.
Oh, that's a lot of turn there from Luke Johnson. Maybe the car's understeering a little bit now. Nice run. That's close to a warning for Maloney. But I'm not going to say it is one since he's only on 0. Down turn 3, 4, 6 the nose in, but Maloney's going to cut that off pretty quickly. Nice run. See how it happens at turn 8, 9. See what can be done. Oh, really using all the track there again with just over 11 minutes to go.
Seems to be a lot of steering inputs here at the moment, but then again, I haven't really watched mine when I'm doing this. So
was no time gain. Oh, my God. Gee.
I give up on calling on track limits. I think we just don't have the
I don't think we mustn't. No. I mean, I knew I was stupid, but come on. Oh, who isn't stupid, though, is Barker looking for all the slipstream he can get. Is Vintner going to give this one up? Yes, he is, and that's a smart decision because of that 15-second that Barker's got. That's going to bring him way down the field.
Yeah, as I said, there's really no point fighting that position at the moment. You've got 15 seconds up your sleeve.
Definitely not worth fighting it now.
Yeah, that's 30 seconds.
Yes.
That's a
that's the equivalent to a drive-through.
Yeah. So once again, I'm pretty sure Vintner will be sitting there going, "You can just keep driving now. I don't care."
Yeah. Yeah, you keep going, mate. Give me the slipstream.
Yeah. Just help me pull away further from Maloney here with the slipstream, and life will be good. But maybe he's going to prove us both wrong here and just try and get it done on track. I mean, I'm not sure why he would, considering there's 30 seconds of pens there. But, no, he wants to have a piece.
And it will, but backs out. Yeah, that's smart. Maybe a switchback here. Good run. Is it going to be enough down to turn 3, 4? I reckon so. Outside he goes. Turns into the inside if he can keep it side by side. I reckon he'll try. No, he's going to get cut off. Yep.
This is where I know he has to sort of fight for position, yeah? Because he has got Tom and Johnson right behind him that if he does make a mistake, he's going to lose that position. But at the same time, you've got to be sitting there going, can you not?
Yeah, could you not do that? Yes.
Yeah, if you would be so kind, please, Barker, with your 30 seconds of pen at the moment, could you just not? But he is entitled to fight.
Sure is. Nothing wrong with fighting, unless you're Vincent and you want to get away, then there might be a problem.
And that Lamborghini hit that brick wall once come out of the slipstream again, but he's going to try and go for switchback as Maloney's gone defensive against Johnson. These battles are very tight now, as we see Vintner also go. Oh, there's been contact. There's been a little bit of contact there. Vintner may have been a little bit spicy on the entry there, or maybe it was a bit compromised with the slide, but I saw a little bit of an argy-bargy go on, but play on.
It's okay. I think Stewart might take a look if Barker felt that it was unnecessary. Down to the second to last corner now. Giacomin, well, commanding lead at the moment. 3.5 seconds with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much done and dusted. But at the moment, the top three looking very comfortable with their respective gaps. Even Benny Hignett in P4 has got a respective gap both ahead and behind. But just had a quick thought in the old brain box. My 3 brain cells actually, came together and had a thought. Imagine if Vincent actually gets a little bit of a pen there for the contact.
I was wondering that, yeah.
That could throw a bit of a spanner in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we will soon find out that at some stage. I mean, the stewards are complicated. Jesus Christ, words are hard at this time of night. But we get there anyway. But yeah, the stewards will be a bit busy with all the incidents at the moment. If there's a fair few going on that we haven't seen on the stream. But if it doesn't get done now, that'll definitely possibly get looked at post-race, and then
definitely
might change. But on board at the moment, Johnson. Still chasing down that rear bumper of Maloney. Just doesn't seem to be close enough on this straight for the difference to actually matter into this fast corner. What would be your theory or your thought on trying to make Tom either do a mistake or where you would attack him at a different point to get this done on track?
I think as long as Tom can keep the car wide, as wide as the track, which is difficult at certain parts here, he can sort of just put that pressure back on Johnson and maybe force him to get a track limit warning or 2 if he's managed to save his. He can maybe spare 1 or 2 if Johnson's following him, just to try and force one out of him.
I was going to say, can we get a confirmation that Tom's still on 0 warnings? And if anyone knows what Johnson's on, that would also be handy for us here. Just to obviously, speculate and all that kind of hypothetical scenarios, but yeah, I'm not sure where Johnson is actually stronger than Tom at the moment, but and vice versa. Still no warnings. Okay, so Tom has breathing room in that regard with what 4 laps-ish remaining.
Yeah, about that. Might be 3 in fact, but once they come across the line we'll get a bit more of an indication. Maloney could probably spare a warning or 2 here. Maybe have Johnson try and follow him to the warning if he can, just to try and get that extra bit of pressure on him.
Johnson
got Barker ahead.
Now.
He sure is. I don't know if it's still going to be enough though, because Maloney just seems to be absolutely nailing this exit.
Yeah, his entry onto the straight there is he's taking a lot more of that inside curb.
Yeah.
And what Johnson is, and it's just allowing him to stretch those legs a little bit earlier as we see Scarman get another 10-second pen. Unfortunate. But the gap is closing this time, but is it still going to... I don't think it's going to be enough. I just don't see it happening.
Maybe early on the brakes for a switchback.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, there's a switchback.
Yeah, there it is. But it's not going to be enough. Maloney held the speed and brought it back on track, so Johnson just has to sit there once again.
Yeah, and we see him close the door there, go on that defensive line, make sure that he makes this overtake as difficult as humanly possible. But yeah, I think that was more of a compromise entry there. But that's a bit of a send. But
yeah, that's okay. No contact, just trying to put the pressure on, stick the nose in. That forced Maloney to have to react to that, get out of the way, open up just enough a gap for Johnson to maybe stick the nose in. Down the inside he goes. It's not going to be enough. Maybe exit the final corner out. Too tight on the entry. Bad exit, yep.
Yeah, and Tom can just plant foot and walk away a little bit here, give that little bit of breathing space again. But 2 very interesting and distinctive lines there as Vincent.
Ooh, there it
10
is.
seconds. Oh, wow.
That's a
Spanner is in
big
the works.
hit. Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
that's a big spanner in the works for Maloney. Really deep now. Johnson. Oh, I don't think Johnson's going to like that one.
No, he's kept his foot in that. And would have got a warning, no doubt. And if that's not a warning...
Yeah, Ricciuti drives through. Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. No, that's not good. This is really playing out nicely for Johnson and Kugali.
That was a cut. Thanks, John. I think we had that one covered.
Right. I think we managed to get that one covered.
I'm surprised that wasn't 2 cuts, to be honest.
Two cuts, yeah.
It's
Or a penalty from the game, classic game. But, yeah, that throws a huge spanner in the works now.
Jesus. Well, yeah, so at the moment, that'll drop Vintner down to, what, P10? And Bark will go down to, like,
around there.
like 12 or... oh, no, he might be 11. Not sure. Oh, because Ricciuti's also going to drop down with the DT as well. So,
it depends if he'd be better off probably serving it.
Possibly.
Oh, that's a close to warning for Johnson. 2 minutes to go. Second to last lap coming up for Giacomin at the front. Johnson's going to have to do everything he can to hold off Kugali in Lemurk. They don't have to worry about Ricciuti. He's got that drive through. Whether he serves it or not, that's up to him.
But the amount of time being in the driver's seat, Hobbsy, I'm not sure how good you are strategy-wise on the fly.
No.
Because I'm not.
No, yeah.
I mean, do you sit there and go, oh, I'm not going to fight this because of, I know 2 cars behind is DT, so I don't have to worry about him. I mean, my brain doesn't have that capability.
Yeah, Ricciuti's pits, that's a wise strategy, I think, because if you don't pit for the drive-through and you take the penalty in, I think it's like 30 or even 45 seconds, depending on the track. I guess for Johnson, what he's just got to look at is he's not fighting for... What he's fighting for is overall position, not class position, because he's going to get the class win no matter what.
True.
He can do what he wants. He's got 7.2 to Hingston. It's his call, obviously. I can't tell you what he will do, because that's his decision, but... I reckon, second to last lap, I reckon he'll give it a bit of a fight and just try and keep it as clean as possible.
Yeah, fair chance here. Let's see if Kugler here is going to have enough in that Merc tank to put the foot down and see if he gets around this McLaren. I'm not sure what it's like in the tow, but hopefully it's not bad. We'll soon find out. Tom's on the extreme
So
left.
2.756. This is a decent tow. 281, 2.3. Maybe we're going to get to 4, 5. No, drop back to 3 when you get out of it. Where is Johnson? He's there. Kugali knew that. Oh, Johnson had to keep it there. Almost a tap, but Johnson going to hold that one, forces Kugali out wide. But can Kugali get a switch back? No, because he really backed off there.
Well, they got a better line through that second part of the track there, into the left-hand, into Bubnow corner.
Yep, Bubnow corner, that's right. So final lap for Giacomin as Thurcolini gets a drive through for collision on lap 29. That's, no.
It is not ideal.
No, certainly not. And he'll be pretty, I'd suspect, upset about that one. So final lap for these gentlemen now, coming across the start-finish line for the lovely race here we've had at Ricard for Split Green. Giacomin, flawless race, managed to get past Udistira with that little incident he had through Sector 1, and Udistira hasn't been able to match since. Still's going to take the points for the fastest lap. Connor Hines not too far behind Udistira, hasn't managed to really close that gap under 6 seconds at any given point. So a solid race overall. Hignet's a fair chunk behind. I think he's just tried to keep it as clean as possible, get those points in. 0-0-0 we hit on the timing clock. David Barker, unfortunate race for him. Johnson still trying to fight with Kugali after all this. Let's have a look at the straight line once again.
Oh, here we go. The Merc looks like it's a lot closer this time. But we saw in the last one that as soon as it just pulled out of that toe, or the slipstream,
yep, back
it
straight
was
off.
literally a brick wall.
Yeah.
It just dropped its speed instantaneously here. So it does look better. He should duck onto the inside here if he feels it's close enough. as he
Yeah,
does.
stick the nose out for pressure, but it's not going to get there. Once again, Mercedes things. Later on the brakes goes Johnson. That's what Kugali didn't want. Nice run, double right-hander as Giacomo's about to come across the line for the win here at Paul Ricard. Great race from him. You cannot fault that. Udistira, great race. Just that little mistake cost him the win. Connor Hines going to come across the line for a podium position after a nice recovery from P9 after that turn 1-2 incident. Hignet's going to come across a little bit further behind as well, but we're going to stick on board here for the final 2 corners with Johnson and Kugali and Maloney. Great driving from these 3. A last-ditch attempt from Kugali, but he has to back out. That was the safe thing to do. It was a last-ditch attempt, so great drive from these 3. You cannot fault them. You can see Hingston there in the background. It's going to come across the line for our rounding out of the top 10 positions.
Yeah, as you can tell, that the front runners and our usual suspects once again showing us why they are up the front end and the pointy end of the fields. But yeah, top effort driving all the way around. Greco here is actually leading the amateur class. Is going to get the win after he was battling in those beams. So he's managed to get the job done on both of them and taken the win for his class. So congratulations in that front as some of the remaining drivers get the second and the third steps on the amateur podium. And what a race, Hobbsy. There was a lot to unpack in that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, so eventful. And there's penalties. Certainly didn't serve the drive-through. Turn to lap 1 in general, there was a lot there to process.
Yeah, there was. As we see the last remaining drivers coming across the line now to finish up the Paul Ricard round 5 for our Simrigs Sprint Series of OR. As we're going to see the tallies in a moment. I'm just going to put it out there. I think my drive of the day is just going to have to go to Connor there after going down to 9th and bringing his back up to get... there we go. I was going to say I didn't think Connor won that for a second there, but as we go, the overall winner is Giacomo, followed by Udistira P2, Connor Hine P3. Jumping to the silver class, Johnson, Hingston, and Cicluna. With our pro-am with Danny, Go, and Thurkalini on the steps, and our amateur class, Greco, Staria, whatever, Richardson is P3. So I've butchered some names there. I apologize once again.
That's fine.
I do that every week here. But overall, Split Green, fantastic racing. Loved it. Thank you very much for joining me, Hobbs.
No worries. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Split Red and Blue. We'll be here for round 4 at Paul Ricard.
Yep. Thanks, chat. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.